Welcome, everyone. Welcome. So today, what am I going to be doing today? I'm going to be teaching you how to write your CV, how to craft your CV. I think the words to use when it has to do with things like CV writing is not theoretical writing, it's crafting. It's like a skill, how to be able to craft your CV. Okay. This training, um, this training covers everything you basically need to know in crafting and writing your CV. But there's a little bit of advanced research you need to do personally when it's actually time for you to go ahead crafting your CV. So this training, honestly, is not the once in a lifetime training, okay? Because I know that some of you, that's how you're going to feel or think. Nothing is that absolute. After this training, as you write CV and you get better at crafting your CV, you will definitely need to know more and to be exposed more, especially to some tools that you can actually use in writing and crafting your CVs. Okay. So this is a CV mastery for digital professionals. Whether you're learning graphics design, video editing, social media management, virtual assisting, data analysis, whether you're learning data analysis or anything you're learning, as long as it's regards to the digital ecosystem, this is for you. It's going to help you to be able to get and craft your CVs. All right. So in starting this entire training, I've already established one thing. Any kind of training like this will need some kind of development in the future. Okay. So you cannot psychologically just bank on the fact that this is all the training you need for the rest of your life when you have to do with crafting out CV. This is what you need to get started and to close at least your first deals or your first jobs. But over time, you will need to have more advanced training depending on the career paths that you're going to go through. Okay, that's already done. Now, the next thing you need to know is this. There is no global rule when it has to do with CV and resumes. I'm going to tell you the difference between the both of them. But when it has to do with CVs and resumes, there is no global rule. What I mean by that is to say that we cannot say for sure that this is how you are supposed to write your CV. If you're not doing it like this, you are not doing it well. Every industry has its own uniqueness when it has to do with writing CVs. Crafting out your CVs for oil and gas jobs is different from crafting out your CVs from digital jobs. It's also completely different from crafting out your CVs for corporate roles or even executive jobs, like when you want to join the board of a company and all that. So there are definitely some uniqueness, and of course, no one says when you have to do it, there's definitely some uniqueness when you have to do it, crafting out specific roles. They are what we call best practices. There's what we call best practice. Best practice is for you to get the best result when it has to do with writing CVs. These are the kind of things you need to do. These are the kind of things you need to practice. So that's what we call best practices. All right. But there is no rule. So if somebody is telling you something like if you're doing any CV anywhere in the world, this is how you need to make sure that the CV is. It's not exactly how it's supposed to be. Some CVs have different ways they are crafted, designed. So you just need to focus on how does it work in my industry and how can I get results. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Okay, beautiful. So what is this training going to be covering today? We are going to be covering the foundations when it has to do with CV writing. We're going to be looking at what employees really want and why most CV fails. Okay. Then we're going to be looking at CV strategy, how to position your skills for maximum impact. And then we are going to be looking at ATS and AI optimization. There's what we call automated tracking systems. This is how they use AIs to go through CVs, all right? So you would have to know how to craft out your CV so that it is well optimized for ATS or AI optimization, okay? More or less like how machines screen you before humans do. Module 4, how to build your CV section by section. The creation system with formulas on how to build your CVs. And then we're going to look at 3 full sample CVs, an entry level, intermediate, and advanced, okay? So first of all, I'm going to start by trying to create a very, very brief, I'm going to start by trying to create a very, very brief distinction between CVs, cover letters, and resume. Understood? Much distinction as I can, so that you know the difference. Because some people generally just assume that CVs are the same thing with cover letters, and they are relatively the same thing with and that's also like the same thing with resumes. Okay, they are completely different things. So CV is a short form T. Okay, and so CV is a short form for what we call curriculum vitae. When you're talking about CV, please everybody pay attention. We're practically talking about if you're in Europe, those of you that know their countries, and Europe is a continent and there are a number of countries in Europe, all right? So within Europe, they call it CV, curriculum vitae. In the UK, which is the United Kingdom, is also called what? CV. And then in Nigeria, it's called what? CV. Now, the CV it's a bit longer. Your CV can be within 2 to 4 pages, and it is for Europe and what? The United Kingdoms. Then when you need to do, when it's called resume, a resume is is your entire professional career, way shorter than how a CV would look like. And even more importantly, it is for majorly 2 countries. So mostly the United. If you're going to be submitting to a US company, you are going to do a resume. US, you should be trying to do a resume. Do you understand? If you're going to be applying to any company in Europe or in Nigeria or in to the UK, you are actually most likely going to be doing a CV. When you're writing a resume or when you're submitting a resume to a United States company or United States or any Canadian company, you need to ensure that it is a maximum of 2 pages. When you're doing a CV, you need to ensure that it's a maximum of 4 pages. I would still advise you keep it at 2 pages. So, word for CV, but for Canada and the United States. CV, which is curriculum vitae, is the word. Are you guys paying attention? Is CV, which is curriculum vitae, is actually what is still the same CV, whether it's resume or CV, but it's a longer version, and it's specifically for countries like Nigeria, the United Kingdom, and the entire Europe. Okay, so in your CV, you're covering your professional history, education, skills, and like I said, it's typically between 2 to 4 pages. For your resume, if you're crafting a resume, specifically for the US and for Canada, you're doing highly specified roles. So you are doing skills and results first format. So let me explain this so that you understand, because this will also be a bit important when we go down towards the training. Companies in the US and companies in Canada, they are not about your professional career. They don't want to know where you started doing sales girl job role 2 years ago. They are hiring a virtual assistant relevant to the role that they're hiring. That is the context of a resume. A curriculum vitae can entail, your CV rather, can entail every detail of your professional career. Your first job as a waiter, your this thing. So you can have a CV that has your whole work experience. Do you understand? And then you can have a resume for what? Your virtual assistant career. You can have a resume for your design career alongside your portfolio. You can have a resume for your data analysis career. So you see that when it has to do with resume, it is specifically for the role and what you're offering. It is result-oriented, experience and skill-based. Straight to the point. You're applying for virtual assistant roles. You only highlight things that are relevant to that particular role. Does that make sense? So that is resume and CV. Now I'm saying this because I wouldn't actually be able to go back to it again. All right. And so the CV, a CV is not your autobiography. It is targeted sales documents with one job to get you the interview. So if somebody is telling you, please pay attention to me because this is very important. Remember, I had mentioned that there is no, you cannot really say this is how you must do your CV. They are professional, what I actually mentioned, and what we call best practices, which is if you want to get better results, this is what you need to do, or this is how you need to craft your CV. That is what we call best practices. But at the end of the day, please everybody pay attention. The only thing you should be giving me an interview. That's all. If a CV is giving you interviews, the CV is working. It doesn't matter whether you wrote your name upside down or whether you put your education on top and your skills under. Do you understand? Is it giving you interviews? If it's giving you interviews, then it's working. If the CV is not giving you interviews, because I see a lot of people, they come to my DMs and they tell me, okay, sir, I've submitted, like, I've applied for like 20 jobs, 30 jobs, they've not even gotten back to me. If nobody is getting back to you, you are not getting interviews, your CV is not working. You have to fix it. Do you understand? Your CV is not working, so you need to go and do an entire revamp of. You need to understand the environment in which your CV is. So please, you guys should listen to what I'm about to tell you, okay? When companies want to hire, there are two ways the company hires. One, the company goes to a company that does recruiting. They call them hiring companies or recruiters. These are people that look for talents for other companies. And they tell the person, I'm looking for somebody to do this for me at this level. This is a salary, this is everything. I want you to help me find them. Those recruiters or hiring agencies decide to go to somewhere like LinkedIn. And then they post the job opportunity. They post, oh, our client is looking for people who can be able to do data analysis for the client, and this is what it entails, and this is what it entails, and this is what it entails. And so this is basically what's going to be happening. Now, these people, listen, these people are going to get a lot of applications. So while the hiring person is looking for talent, you're going to get like 50, 60, sometimes 100. There's a client that we've worked with who had 300 applications. 300 people applied for one particular role. Some of them get as much as 1,000 applications. So your CV is going to be like one sheet of paper on an entire stack. Because some of you don't think about it when you're writing your CV. You don't know the environment. It's like sending your child to farm and giving him a spoon. Do you understand? Because you don't put thought into the fact that, see, this CV that I'm writing is going to be like one document inside 1,000 documents. Like there's going to be 1,000 CVs in this folder, and my own will be one. So I have to make sure that this thing gets me results. People are able to understand and comprehend and see and recognize me in the midst of thousands of other people applying for these jobs. You need to understand the hiring market. Your CV is going to be within of other people's CVs, people who are more experienced than you, people who are probably more skilled than you, people who are probably even more available than you. So this is war. Do you understand? Because some of you, what you did when you were writing your CV is you just went to look for one Canva template. You feed your name, you feed your phone number and your email. You now went to write, I know how to do graphics design. Some of you even went to go and put sales girl job you were doing for your auntie because you were waiting for jam. You carried it because somehow you feel that matters. Like somebody who has 1,000 people to review and select who care about you and your auntie's relationship and how you were doing sales girl for our boutique. Do you understand? Like, you need to think about, are you guys listening to me? You need to think about the fact that your CV is going to war for you. You are sending your CV to war for you. It needs to be crafted well. Does that make sense? Those of you on YouTube, are you getting me? It needs to be crafted well. Do you understand? Your CV is also going to go through several layers of assessment. That's what we call both algorithmic, like you know what they call algorithms. Your CV is going to be given to an AI. And AI is going to scan your CV alongside with thousands of other people's CV, and it's going to be able to bring out, it needs to be able to bring out your CV as per, tell the hiring manager, this person is one of the persons who qualify for these jobs. Your CV is also going to what we call psychological screening as well too. Some people are going to just look at it. They can just say, I don't like this person. Just the same way some of you saw my face and like, I don't like this boy. His network she cut. Do you understand? Like, they can just look at say, I don't just like this thing. So you have to present your CV in a way that it befits both the AI algorithm that's going to screen through it, the psychological assessment, you're going to have people who screen through it, or even the humans who are going to take a detailed look at this. Do you understand? So before you even write anything, you need to understand that you are preparing your CV to wage war against every other likely things. I'm not even talking about your village people. That's a different factor altogether. Because some of you, it's not your CV that's the problem. It's probably your village people. But let's leave that conversation for another day. So most people who build their CVs, they try to, you see people, they are focusing on the design. You understand? Oh, this CV has to look sweet. It has to look good. It has to look nice. It doesn't matter as much as the content of the CV. All right. So I've made a very, very clear distinctions between CVs and resumes. But here's something that you need to, those of you that are asking questions whether the class is recorded and whether you're going to get the notes. If you're a paid student of Skill to Scale, you're definitely going to get the notes. And yes, all our classes are automatically recorded, and you can find them using the YouTube link. Okay. So I've already mentioned that CV is curriculum vitae. It can be sometimes 2 to 4 pages. Nigerian, UK, Europe, Africa, international organizations, most people within the academia, which is anything that's relatively academic, you can definitely use the CV for. Okay. And then I've talked about the resume and how it applies as well too. So now let's look at why employers actually look, what employers actually look for in digital talent. Because your CV is not just you trying to tell people about your experience, trying to tell people about your skills, trying to tell people about things that you feel they need. It's you trying to make sure that you are recognized as a match. You know the way they do matchmaking, relationship matchmaking, you get. You are trying to make sure that you are a match for what the client actually needs. Do you understand? So every hiring manager and every client, whether it's a CEO going through the CV, is asking themselves several questions. Can this person do the job? Does this person have the skill to do this job? Have this person done this job before and have they succeeded in it? Will this person fit into our world? These are three of the most important questions people are asking. So before you submit your CV for a role, you need to ask yourself, does my CV show that I'm the best person for this job? Does my CV shows that I have done this kind of job before and I can do this kind of job and I will succeed in it? Does my CV shows that I'm going to fit into this organization? Do you understand what I just said now? So you need to be able to ensure that your CV is answering these questions. It's not about the ChatGPT you are using to pack your CV and tell it to write plenty things about you. It is about the questions that you are answering using your CV. Do you understand? So beyond these questions, some digital roles require that the employers, they'll be able to assess you, you get. So they should be able to know what we call tool proficiency. We are using, my company is probably using, let's say my company is using HubSpot. So my company is using HubSpot, then we are able to assess, so can this person use HubSpot? They also want to be able to know what we call self-direction. Can this person work with minimal supervision? Like, I'm not going to see this person is working remotely. Most of you are applying for remote jobs. This person is working remotely. Can this person actually work without me supervising the person from the person's house? Do I need to actually be able to call this person every day? Wake up, stand up, come and walk. Come and walk. Why? They're supposed to have a meeting by 10. Why are you still sleeping? So the client want to understand or want to know from your CV that this person has the competence to work with minimal supervision. The next thing is communication quality. The client wants to know, can this person communicate well? Is your English properly written? Is your English properly, like when you're writing the CV, they are looking at the way you're communicating or spelling. If this person writes me an email, am I going to need ChatGPT to try to understand what the person is saying, or does the person know how to communicate? Another thing that some clients are looking at is the growth mindset. If I want this person to do something that the person does not currently know how to do, can the person figure it out? Are they learning or are they staying current? Is this person able to learn every single day? And then we have what we call qualifiable impact. Has this person gotten results before, not just perform tasks? Not, I was a digital marketer, I was doing social media marketing for the company. No, has this person grown a social media account from 100 followers to 500 followers? Has this person grown a social media account from 2% engagement to 7.5% engagement? They are looking for quantifiable impact. Can this person do all these things? Do you understand? So the way a lot of hiring managers see things, they're asking themselves questions. I don't need your life story. I need to know in 8 seconds whether you can solve my problem. Show me your results, show me the right tools, and I will read the rest. So let me give you a practical example. We have like people applying for jobs, and we have like, let's say 30 applicants, and I have to go through 30 CVs. As soon as I open the CV, the first thing my eye goes to is the skills. I want to see all the skills the person has and the tools the person can use. The second thing, because if I want you to use Canva and you don't even have Canva as a skill, every other thing you are saying is useless. I will cancel it and go to the next person. Do you understand? It's very simple. If I want you to use Adobe Premiere Pro, I just go to your skill. If you don't have Adobe Premiere Pro there, what's the point? So the first thing the hiring manager goes to the skill and then the experience. I'm going to talk a bit about this, but you have literally less than 8 seconds. Some people in 3 seconds, they can literally know whether they're going to read the rest of the CV or not. So you need to make sure that your CV is designed to get the best results. And for now, the only result you care about is an interview. The CV's job is to get them to call you for an interview. If your CV gets you an interview, your CV is working. Improve on it, but understand the fact that it is what? Working. All right. So let's look at what we call the anatomy of a hiring decision. Now, I know some of you are expecting, because I'm seeing like one or two, some of you are expecting, okay, just go straight to the point, tell us how to write a CV. That's the reason why you will never get a job. Because all the people that know how to write a CV and have been writing CVs for 5 years and have not gotten jobs is because they are just go straight to, let me write a CV. Just teach us, how do we put a CV? How do we craft experience? People know how to do it, and those people who know how to do it haven't been getting results. So most of the things we are going to be teaching you are the things that separate somebody who knows how to write CVs or craft out CVs and somebody who gets results from doing that, somebody who gets interviews. And the difference is not necessarily in your ability to write or use ChatGPT or AI to put some things relative in a CV. It's your understanding of how hiring works, how the person who's going to give you the job is thinking. If I tell you, now you guys need to answer me. If I tell you that as there's a CEO now, he wants to hire people, and in his mind, there's only one thing he wants the person to be able to do. There's one tool he wants the person to be able to do. You get like one just major tool. If he sees that tool on anybody's CV, if he sees that thing, there's two things he has in mind, a tool and one characteristics. If he sees that thing on anybody's CV, he will make sure he interviews the person. If I tell you that there's a secret, wouldn't you want to know that secret? Like, just tell me anything I can put on my CV that will make me get this job. If I can't put it on it directly without lying, I can go and find it. I can go and practice. So you see that that's how you think about CV. It's not about filling it up with words. It's writing the exact thing that the person who wants to hire you wants. And that's the reason why we are looking at the anatomy of a hiring decision. So a CV is evaluated in different levels. The first layer is what we call the ATS software scan. ATS means automated tracking systems. So we are talking about companies, for instance, now, any company that has more than 20 applications, they take it through an ATS system. There are software companies that provide services for hiring companies and companies. So as 20 of you apply for a job like this now, I'll just carry this thing and I will take it through a software. What is the software doing? The software is going to go through everybody's CV, and the software is looking for what? Keywords. If I am hiring an operational management virtual assistant, please pay attention. If I'm hiring an operational manager virtual assistant, which is a virtual assistant who does operational management for companies, that particular software is looking for keywords associated to operational management. And then if the software sees, let's say, let me look for very interesting, Jennifer. So the software sees Jennifer, Pearl, and First2 CV. And then the software now realizes that First2 has he was operational manager, skill to scale, in 2016 or 2021. Pearl has an MBA. She literally has an MBA, like she went to business school. Jennifer probably has done MD for a software company. You see, I'm hiring for an operational manager role. Even if Pearl and Jennifer have relatively higher qualifications in things that are not pertaining to what I am hiring for, that software is going to rank First2 who has that operational manager role higher than Pearl and Jennifer. So the software is checking for keywords. The software is ranking candidates. The software is looking at the job description, because the company is going to tell the software, we are looking for an operational manager that's going to be working virtually with us. This is what we want. This is how we want the person to be. This is what we want the person to do. Do you understand? And then the software is going to use what the company gives them and scan through all the CVs, and is going to do what we call ranking. You will check your descriptions, you will check your career statement, your work experience, everything you write on your CV, and it will rank first to. So no, Festus is the first person. People should consider Festus. Jennifer, put Jennifer last. Put Jennifer last. Put Pearl second. Do you understand? The software will rank based on everything. That is what we call the ATS screening, automated tracking system screening. That's the first level in which your CV goes. If you are crafting a CV and you are not asking yourself, what are the keywords that an automated tracking system will need for me to factor into my CV? You will not, instead of you to use operational manager, you will not use I was heading activities of the company, or I was a leader of the entire team of the company. It's still operational manager, but because you're not thinking in keywords, you will now want to make it sound big. You know, I was the leader, I was leading the team, the project team. You were doing operations management for a project. Because you're not thinking in keywords, what do? You now literally just assume that sounding big is going to give you the role. It's not. By the time the ATS scan your stuff, they'll go and put you under, ensure second to last. They'll even put recommendation beside your name. This person is not even advisable you interview this person. So the thing with CV is not about sounding big. It's not about sounding big. It's not about sounding experienced. It's about knowing what the recruiter is looking for, what the company wants, and being able to position yourself as the best fit. The second layer, do you understand? The second layer is what we call the recruiter glance. The recruiter glance. This is where they go through your CV for 6-10 seconds. Like, you know the way they used to scroll, like, bro, is 6-10 seconds. They are just scrolling through it, and you know what they are looking for? You know what they are looking for? Are you guys paying attention to me? They are looking for why, like the recruiter is telling himself, I want to trash out some CVs. So I'm looking for somebody to give me a good reason why I should not read this CV. Do you understand? The recruiter is looking for a reason why they will not hire you. As the recruiter is looking at your CV now, he's looking at your surname. I'm serious. In the United States, if they are probably screening, if you passed the ATS system and they don't want to hire Nigerians, it's in the screening, it's in the glance process that they remove all Nigerians. They are looking at the name, they're looking at the country, they're like, oh, Nigeria, no. That is what they are doing. It's also in that place that they are looking at your bullet points. They're looking at all the bullet points you have there. So this is where the candidates, they look at the candidate current title, total years of experience. For instance, now a company wants to hire a CEO. You that just started doing VA, you went to LinkedIn, you saw the role, you told ChatGPT, please position me for this role. And ChatGPT went to go and look for a way to trick all your VA experience and make it sound like you're fit for a CEO with your 2 years experience in sales management and 6 months experience in VA. You passed ATS system because you probably got some keywords right. This is where they look at you, they're like 2 years. They just throw you away. Want to come and ruin our company. Do you understand? So this is where they now scan. This is where they look at years of experience. This is where they look at the company you've worked in. The company you've worked in, the places where you have been in. So this is where they look at the bullet points. Everything on your CV matters. Everything on your CV matters. Sometimes they even look at how clean and order your CV is. Some of you that will be doing CV like you're writing your uncle letter. You'll be like, sorry, sir, bro, I did this, but I'm not really sure what you did. Your CV is like you're writing informal letter to your uncle. Like, this is where they will trash, they will throw both you and your uncle. They will just throw you away. Do you understand? They are looking for people who are order, who their thing is organized. Do you understand? Some of you go and put your education in work experience. Your education, you go and put 500 level, final year coordinator, 500 level. You go and put it in work experience. This is where, this is where they trash it. They are like, who considers an academic position as work experience? You get this is where they trash it. So you need to make sure that this is even where we are looking for all of you that is to lie. You get, you lie, like, or some of you that is to put CEO on your CV. You are looking for a job, you are putting CEO. Yeah, you are looking for a job and you are putting that you are CEO. There's a CV that I can't remember, like I don't really go through CVs again, but like when I used to do hiring for skill to scale, there's this CV that we got from LinkedIn. I saw CEO when I was scanning through it. I saw CEO. I didn't read any other thing. I just threw away. I just disqualified the person. Who wants to hire a CEO of another company? Do you understand? I'm looking for a virtual assistant or a data analyst, and you're telling me you're a CEO. I said, you can't be having two CEO. Do you understand? You can't have two CEO, bro. If you want to be CEO, don't have a CV. Do you understand? Go and be reviewing other people's CV. So this is where they see CEO, they screen you out. Except you're probably hiring, you're going to do for another, you want to be CEO of another company. The company is looking for a CEO. Yeah, so this is where they scan you out. The last one is the hiring manager reads. This is one where they now read your CV. That they have scanned it and they know that, okay, it seems like this person is worth it. They now sit down to read your CV. This is where every content is under some kind of high degree microscopic analysis. They are checking. This girl said she did sales rep. Did she get results? Okay, she increased sales by 10%. Okay. Let's see her certifications. Okay, she has a basic certification. This is where they now go through everything properly to now see. Do you realize that when somebody say they are hiring for role, do you realize there's only one person they are looking for? Because some of you used to write CV like they are looking for people to join, like they are looking for a group of people. You want to open music band. They are looking for only one person. Do you understand? Only for 1 year, they are just looking for one person. And so you write your CV like you want to be part of the people that they will join. You know, you're like, you know, I have a little bit of skill. I can do this. I can do this. You need to write your CV like you are the only person they should pick. You get it. While you are crafting it in a way that you're positioning yourself as the best. So this is also where they check for your references, missing evidence. All of you that are lying, vague language. You will say your operations manager. They are now looking for what you manage. They cannot see anything that you managed. Lead operation manager. Okay, what did you do as lead operation manager? Helped the company operate efficiently, created systems for efficient operations, categorically ensured that operation ran smoothly. Those are vague things. That's where you get disqualified. All these things doesn't mean anything. Operations manager, what did you do? Grew the operations team from 10 to 15 people within the span of 6 months. Ensured that every team was using AI to actually make their job faster. Ensured grew the company's revenue from 50,000 a month to 150,000 a month. That's what they want to see. Operations manager that ensured quick efficiency of processes. And guaranteed the result of all team members relative to their names. What was that? It doesn't make sense. So you need to be very specific. This is where it is screened. Do you understand? So now let's look at 15 reasons why you guys should calm down. Don't worry, we'll get to all the things that we need to cover. So why most CVs fail? Number one, no measurable results. Every bullet describes a task instead of an outcome. Some of you do something like manage social media. That is not an achievement. I used to tell those of you that, like, those of you that are in DCL or other programs, nobody's looking to hire somebody who knows how to speak big English but doesn't have results. If I'm looking for a social media manager now, I'm looking for somebody who has results. Do you understand? I grew a social media page. I was able to achieve 7 viral videos of over 5,000 views. I was able to achieve 17 viral videos of 1.2 million on TikTok. I was able to grow a social media from 5,000 views or 5,000 impressions over to 120,000 impressions in 1 month. That is what people are looking for. You are wondering why they're not employing you. That's why they're not employing you. You don't have results. You're only speaking English. And I know some of you now say, oh, but I'm just starting. How do I get results? Is anybody stopping you from opening a social media account now? Start creating content, start posting, and ensure that you start getting the results that you want to tell people you want to get. See, if I want to get a job, please pay attention. If I want to get a job, let's say I want to be CEO of which company? Tony Alumni Foundation. Pay attention. I'm going to look for the last 5 CEOs that's Tony Alumni Foundation. I'm going to look for the past 5 CEOs. I'm going to look for their qualifications. What did they do? What results did they get? Where were they positioned? I will realize, oh, all of them worked in UBA. Okay. All of them engaged in some kind of volunteering project. Oh, all of them did this. I will just go and create what they call a strategic career growth plan. A strategic career growth plan is that I am planning for a job that I don't have the qualifications yet. And so I will plan to do those things, get the qualification, and then I will now come back and apply for that role as soon as there's an opening. So if you are waiting to be hired as a social media manager, ask yourself, what kind of results do people want to see in, are you listening, in a CV? And then go and create that result and come back and apply. Do you understand? Okay. So no measurable results. Nobody's going to hire you for your fine, smooth talk. Number 2, generic objective statement. Some of you like cliche words. A hardworking, self-motivated, power-breathing, specifically automated human being. Do you understand? Like, nobody is looking for generic statement. You get? Have you looked at CVs before? Everybody is a hardworking, diligent, self-motivated person and seeking for a challenging opportunity to grow. Everybody. Cliche. Everybody is looking for challenging opportunity to grow. That's why you're not getting generic statements. It doesn't communicate anything. It doesn't communicate anything. Do you understand? It doesn't communicate anything. Okay. Another thing is wrong length of CV. Some of you are submitting 5-page CV. Really? Really? Like, are you the one that employed me as hiring manager? 5-page. You are not applying for CEO of Tesla. You are not applying for CEO of Starlink. You're not, it's not even CEO, VA role, 5-page CV. So somebody should sit down. Do you understand? Like, sit down and then read 5 pages of your life, like a storybook. Do you understand? In the way my grandmother died, I wanted to cry, but I did not cry. It shows how strong I am. Please make sure that if your CV can enter 1 page, you have better chances of succeeding. If it cannot enter 1 page, it should be able to enter 2 pages. Do you understand? If you are doing 3 pages, it should be because you are applying to your uncle's company. If you are doing 3 pages, it should be your father that is reading it. Like your father told you to write a CV so that he will employ you. Do a 3-page CV. Guys, listen to me. 3 pages 3-page CV is your mother. You want to get a job in your mother's company, do 3-page or 4 pages. Do you understand? The maximum you should do when you're not the one, you don't have any relationship with the person, do a 2-page CV. In short, 1.5. Because as I'm saying 2-page now, some of you will go and cover 2 full pages. 1.5. If you pass half of the second page, you interview yourself. Is it true? You will just do like you on your camera and say, okay, I want to interview myself for the role, because nobody is going to call you back. Nobody will call you. Do you understand? As soon as they see 5 pages, they'll just move over. They'll be like, is it like me? Me want to stress. So wrong length of CV. Number 4, I've mentioned this already, keyword mismatch. Your CV has to be crafted to fit the keyword. Go to the job description. Do you understand? Go to the job description, that the job you want to apply for. Look for the keywords in the job description. Use the exact words that they want to use for the person they want to employ. Use it for yourself. Do you understand? Recraft things that are recraftable. You were managing director, but what they are looking for is what? An operational manager. Recraft your managing director responsibility to encompass operation management role, because as an MD, you significantly also manage the operations. So they are looking for you. It's just that the words they are using to look for you is not the one that you are using to identify yourself. So you recraft it to fit their words. That's what we call keyword match. Do you understand? Your CV needs to contain the exact words in the job description that the client is looking for. Number 4. Number 5, the skill you listed without context. When you list 30 tools with no project, no results to support them, it's meaningless. So when they came to skill area, digital marketing skill, experience, 0 digital marketing experience. You came to skill and project management, experience, 0 project management. You didn't even manage frying garri for your family. No project. I'm not saying you should go and tell people that you manage your village people, they are frying garri posts. I'm not saying, I'm just trying to tell you that you cannot put a skill and not factor context in experience. How do you want me to believe that you can use Canva? No portfolio attached. You have not done any job that you have used Canva before. Do you understand? Do you understand? Those of you that have questions, hold your questions. When I ask for questions, you answer. Do you understand? So when you put a skill, when you list skills, make sure. That's why I used to advise you guys. When you learn a skill like graphics design, go and look for a job or something that has to do with graphics design and do, so that when you are writing your CV, that graphics design skill is going to have a backing in your job experience. Did what I say make sense? Did what I say make sense? Beautiful. Another thing you need to be careful about is visual cluster. You use complex templates with multiple columns. So I would have gotten some examples of very terrible CVs. I'm probably going to put it at the, I'll get, okay. I'm going to work on that. I would have loved to show you guys what a bad CV looks like, so you know why nobody has called you for a job. No, see, CV is not a design competition. Listen very carefully to me, everybody. You are applying for data analysis role, not creative director. Don't go and start designing don't go and start designing the CV. Use orange, purple. You use one curve here, one yellow circle curve. Do you understand? You use different. See, if you are not applying for a creative role, listen, uncle. If you are not applying for a creative role, do not focus on design. You overcomplicate your entire life. Just do a simple CV. Do you understand? They are not asking you for a creative director. They are not asking you for graphics design. You are not applying for video editing role. Anything that is not creative, don't focus on the design. Keep it as simple as possible. Do you understand? Do you understand? Okay. So visual clusters. Make sure everything is simple. Make sure everything is spaced. I'm going to show you guys an example of 3 CVs so that you guys have an idea of what I'm talking about. Make sure everything is spaced. You know, can join everything together. We can't see the difference between one line and another line, because I told you that you should do 1.5. Because some of you, this is what you do. I told you that your distance should be 1.5. So you want to make sure it's 1.5. You now start squeezing your line spacing, squeezing everything so that everything will enter 1.5. It will still look clustered, and they will not look at it. They will, in short, is in the skimming process that they will throw away your CV. The next place that your CV will be is in the hands of Suyaman when he's giving somebody testing. Say, madam, collect testing. Is your CV that will be there in Kechi Benita. Your CV, your CV that they will use. So another thing is passive voice throughout. Where you say something like campaigns were managed campaigns, all these things are passive voice. People want to know you did something. Do you understand? They want to know you did something. You need to know that I designed 5 designs for the campaign. I created 15 copies. Do you understand? I approved and helped the team come up with 25 copies for the campaign. I was able to manage the entire advertising campaign with an advertising spend of 50,000 naira. Do you understand? They want to know you did something. Do. Not I managed campaigns. I organized team meetings. I administered operational process. All those, I've said it again, all those passive words, the only thing it will get you, is a we regret to inform you letter. That's what is, you know, that we regret to. We are sorry to announce to you. That is the only thing it will get you. Nobody wants to hire anybody who will be managing campaigns. They want to see what you can do. Create copies, do designs, write copies, approve copies. Do you understand? Research. Sometimes, instead of you to say, I manage campaigns, you can say, I researched, I executed by doing a holistic research on the 20 best campaigns in the industry. I recreated some of the working concepts of that campaigns into the current campaigns by coming up with 25 designs, 7 videos, 4 copies. Do you understand? And 5 advertising creatives that were run at an ad budget of 20,000. Do you understand? That is what people want to see. You get? Another thing that will make people throw away your CV, or it will be in the trash of their email, is irrelevant personal information. Nobody wants to know your date of birth. Are you surprised? Don't be. Nobody wants to know your date of birth. They put, you see, listen very carefully. Listen very carefully. That is why they put it in the job description that you should be under 35. You get? Because they don't believe that any sane person will see a job description that they say under 35 and you apply at 42 years. Do you understand? They don't believe, so they are not interested in the date of birth. They believe that you read the job description and you understood what under 35 years means. Because some of you are the one that is causing it will now look like your village. It will look like your village people are fighting you. Meanwhile, you went to apply for jobs that you had 0 qualifications for. They said they need somebody that is under 30 years old. You are 32 years old and you went to apply for the job. Do you understand? Like, how are you setting yourself up for failure? Go and look for other jobs that don't have age now. Do you understand? Nobody wants to know your religion. Do you understand? Even if it's your pastor's office you're applying to, a standard CV, you don't know your marital status is not important. Do you understand? They are not about to build a relationship with you. You get? They are not, they are not, even if they are looking for mothers, they are going to mention in the job description that they are looking for mothers. And they will know that it's only mothers that's going to be applying for the job. You don't need to tell them you're married or you're single. Passport photograph. It's not BVN. It's not NIN. Nobody wants to see your face yet. Do you understand? Putting your face will even make people want to screen you out more. Somebody can just look at your face and that this person look like my wicked uncle, and they will not employ you. You don't know who you look like. Maybe you look like the ex-girlfriend of the hirer. The person will not be like, this girl looks like my ex-girlfriend. Go for it. I don't know hire. because you cause problem for yourself. Keep your passport and your passport photograph out of it. It's a CV. Do you understand? It's not BVN. It's not NIN. You get, it's no SIM card registration. Keep your photo out of it. Your primary school. Hey, some of you still have CV. Some of you still have CVs that you're putting. What's that thing that they used to do in GSS? That exam they used to take in GSS 3. What's their exam, guys? First school living certificate. You see it? No, first school living certificate should be like. What's that exam now? They used to do GSS for your entire SS. There was a time they used to take it. You really don't know. Gen Z, all of you are Gen Z here. Junior WAEC. Some of you are still attaching your junior WAEC result to your CV. You're still attaching your junior WAEC result to your CV. Unnecessary things, remove them from your CV. Nobody wants to know your primary school. It has zero impact. Listen, no, nobody wants to know. Do you understand? Nobody cares. Remove them. Another thing is that some of you, because you just did small graphic design training, is inside your CV, you want to use and experiment the graphic design skill you have not mastered. You now start using fonts, italics, bold fonts, ridiculous things. Do you understand? So that's what we call formatting inconsistency. When you start using different fonts, one CV, 5 fonts, you're beginning to have problem. Inconsistent date format. You say you were working in a company in 2012 to 2014. You now say you were working in another company in 2013. Were you working in 2 companies at the same time? Do you understand? Inconsistency in dates. Inconsistency in dates. So you need to ensure that everything is consistent. Some of you, it's not that you are lying. You just did not know how to organize your CV in a way that people will understand how your career journey even went. Do you understand? Okay, so you need to make sure that there's no formatting inconsistency. Anything that doesn't look clear and appropriate, people will think you are lying. Do you understand? Because they can't see you. It's not inside your CV. You say, I'm a Christian, I don't used to lie. I'm a Christian, I don't used to lie. They won't know. Do you understand? So now we are going to talk about, so when we get to questions, so because I've seen like 2 or 3 questions, we'll get there when we get to questions. Okay, typographical errors. Right now you have AI. I don't even see a reason why anybody should have a typo on their CV. You get, you are working for a company. The actual name of the company is Plantif Incorporated. You now spelled the company wrongly, and unfortunately for you, the hiring manager knows the company. That's just how you have shown that you don't know what you are doing. You won't see an interview because you don't know how to spell the company you are working with. Do you understand? They will now think that you don't now know how to spell their own company when you work with them. You see, they will not hire you. Typos and graphical and grammatical errors. No portfolio link. Your CV should have a link to your portfolio. Some of us don't know what portfolio means. Go and watch your personal branding class and go and watch your monetization class. I've explained portfolio. I did a video teaching you guys how to do a basic portfolio. Your CV needs to have a link to your portfolio. Do you understand? Your CV needs to have a what? A link to your portfolio. There's also what we call chronological confusion, unexplained gaps, dates that overlap, roles listed out of order. Now, let me make this simple for you to understand. You worked for a company 2013 to 2017. Within that 2013 to 2017, you also worked for another company 2015, 2016. You need to mention that the company that you worked for was part-time. I worked for one company part-time, 2014 to 2017. I also worked for another company part-time, you get, or weekends only, 2015 to 2016. So that the hiring manager understand that there was a time you're working with for two companies on two different roles, both part-time. Are you listening? Roles listed. Your CV has to be in chronological order. Usually when you come to your experience, you start with your latest experience, your least experience. You will not start with you put your experience for 2025. You now go to your experience for 2015. Then you now come back to your experience in 2020. Then you now come back for another experience in 2017. No. Chronological order, 2025, 2024, 2023, 2022. That's how you go down. Do you understand? Now, another thing is one CV for every role. Sending identical CVs to every application is the single biggest strategic mistake that people are making. You are applying for a graphics design role. You now go and send one CV, graphics design. Somebody is saying, I need a VA. Because you did VA at skill to scale, you also did SMM. You now carry that same CV, and you're wondering how your village people are tormenting you. That's how they're tormenting you. That same CV you use to apply for graphics role, you go and send it for VA role. You now see another opportunity, digital marketing role or copywriting. You carry that same CV, and you're wondering where your problem is coming from. Don't wonder anymore. Here is it. It's simple. Right before you, you are your problem. Every role you see, listen, let me tell you how to do strategic career growth. Because some of you don't know how to do things that will help your destiny. Your mother is praying for you, you are not helping yourself. Every day she's going for night vigil praying for you. Instead of you to learn how to do things well, no. You go to TikTok and be laughing. And when you decide to do CV, you cannot spend 5 hours on your CV. You do 2 hours, you're tired, you do rubbish, you don't send. Don't get me angry. The person I'm talking to, you know yourself. Later you go to church and say, God help me, God help me. Pay attention to what I'm saying. Strategic this thing. When I do a skill training, please know I did VA, I did SMM at skill to scale. There are specific roles I can apply for. I can apply for virtual assisting. I can apply for social media management. I can apply for video editing role. I can apply for graphics designer role. And possibly I can apply for maybe copywriting role. There are only 5 roles I can apply for. I need to have 5 CVs for every single one of those roles. Do you understand what I'm saying now? Because some of you just go to LinkedIn now and you go to jobs. You just be scrolling down with your phone as you're eating granuts. Man, I need to be employed. I'm going to apply for jobs today. You go and see a VA role, virtual, remote. You carry CV, you put. You see another role, operation manager, virtual. You carry CV, you put. A role that has nothing to do with your strategic advantage. Later, you will now come and say, I've been applying for jobs since nobody is giving me interview. You have been doing yourself problem. You have been I don't mean to sound offensive, guys. I just want you to understand that life is not hard. If you do the right things long enough, you'll get the right results. I'm telling you the truth. This life is not hard though. If you do the right things long enough, you will get the right results. You'll get the right result, okay? So one CV for every role. Another one is contact information. I told you guys this thing. Those of you that have done VA trainings with us, I've taught you guys this thing. I don't know why you are still using the nickname your ex-boyfriend gave you for your email address. I don't know why you are Sandy Rose. I don't know why it's Sandy Rose at yahoo.com. I don't know why. I don't know why it's chocolate. Is hot boy. Do you understand? Is the Caesar. I don't know why. I don't know why. Why? Don't you have a name and surname? What happens to chigozeunko@gmail.com? What happens to Victoria John official at gmail.com? What happens? Crypto Daddy, I should even talk to you, because hopefully you don't go and use your crypto daddy at gmail.com email and apply for jobs. It is even the ATS system that will scan. I know the ATS system, look at email, but they will scan you out. The name your mother and your father gave you, not the one that your boyfriend gave you. I can't say this thing. Your biological names. Use your biological names. All right. You can add officials. You can add you can add numbers. I don't like people adding numbers. I prefer you do something like official dot, you understand, or you do something like Raphael.Victor@gmail.com, or you do something like official Raphael or office.Raphael. Do you understand? Like, there are other ways you can do these things. You get? Do you understand? Leave the memory of your ex-boyfriend and your former life alone. Hustle. I don't mean literally hustle, but take your life serious. That baby girl Rose, leave baby girl Rose email alone. Do you understand? Come to reality. You need to get a job. That's what matters. Do you understand? You get? No chocolate, not baby, fine. Like, I've seen very ridiculous things, and to me it irritates me. My own is a very different thing. Your WhatsApp name, if I go to check somebody's WhatsApp name and I'm seeing the guy, blessed of all, Jesus lover, I'm a child of God. But is that your name? Is that your name? Is that your name? Your relationship with God is very important. Listen very well. A relationship with God is one of the things that's going to help you succeed. Those of you that don't have a relationship with God, your life is at risk. And I'm telling you that this is like a truth, you get. But it has nothing to do with your email, nothing to do with your WhatsApp name. Your WhatsApp name should be your WhatsApp name in Nkechi Benita. Okay, I don't know why I keep calling Nkechi Benita. I would like, we're friends a long time ago. I don't know where she is. Very nice girl. Let me use Jennifer Labi. I will use you. Alabi Jennifer. That's how your name should be. On your WhatsApp, on your email, straight up. Lastly, a summary of, oh my God, I have a lot of work here to do. Summary of your experience contradicts each other. I've said it already. Inconsistency. They will think you are lying. And if you are lying, they will know you are lying. Do you understand? Any form of inconsistency will make them think you are lying. And if you're actually lying, they will finally know you are lying. Even if they don't know now, they will know later, okay? So the psychology of hiring. Please. I'm going to do this. We're going to finish this class today. I can't do this class today. All right? So recruiters are human. Their decisions are influenced by psychological factors beyond qualifications. Do you understand? So there are some things that you need to understand. The one is the halo effect. A strong opening creates a positive cognitive bias. There is no second, a mentor of mine told me this years ago, there's no second time to make a first impression. Did you hear me? There is no second time to make a first impression. You need to make sure that your opening, you have the strongest opening. If I'm looking at a CV And I'm impressed by the career statement, only that beginning of the CV. Automatic, if I like that one, I've liked everything. Even if I see something I don't like, I'll be like, maybe the person will change. I'm serious. That's how people have entered wrong relationships. Yes. They just like, you just like the way, I just like the way you dress. And that's how they entered wrong relationship. That's how it is in CV writing too. People are humans. If they like you, they will look for a way to make sure you get the job. I'm telling you. How many of you used to, some of you that are teachers, used to mark students their exam? How many of you realize that once you begin to like a student, just the name and how the student is answering question, you literally start forcing yourself to increase the marks of the student, even when you don't have to. People are human beings. That's the same psychological thing that tells in CV. Have a strong opening, be as likable as possible. Do you understand? Social proof. Brand names carry weight. Oh. There's a guy's CV that I saw. I've been looking for that CV for a long time. Man, this guy's CV, Google, Microsoft, Tesla, like any job that guy applies for, he gets an interview. Whether or not they employ him is a different thing, but he gets an interview. Do you understand? One of the things you must work well and work towards is working for brands that have big names, recognizable brands. Even if, listen, even if they did not pay you, hey God, even if they did not pay you, oh, Jennifer, even if they did not pay you, working for a brand that has a reputable name will create a strong bias. Do you understand? Abigail will create a strong bias, okay? Cognitively. So recruiters read dozens of email of CVs. The easier your CV is to scan, the more likely they are to read it fully. Make your this thing easy. Make your CV easy to read. Make the formatting clear. Do you understand? Okay? Then recency bias as well too. The most recent experiences carries weight than the previous one. Nobody wants to employ somebody that has past glory. Do you understand? Are you guys listening to me? Nobody wants to employ anybody that has what? Past glory. Who you used to be before has nothing to, they don't want it. They want to know the one you are doing now. No, I used to 2017, 2019. Nobody, they are looking for now. What have you done now? What are you doing now? Do you understand? So we call it recency bias. So your strongest and your most recent experience and results will, even if, see, listen, if you have 5 work experience and the last one has more results than, in short, the rest of the 4 doesn't have a result. It's only your last experience that has a result. You'll most likely be hired, or at least you get an interview. Most recency. And then the last one is similarity bias. Recruiters subconsciously favor candidates who reflect their own professional background or the company's already existing team. If the company hired somebody, listen very carefully. If the company hired somebody with a particular professional background and the person is doing well in the company, if they see your CV and you are, for instance, it could even be the same school. Very funny, but that's the truth. It could be the same school, but they will associate that value. If this guy attended this school with this guy, that means this guy can do as well as this guy. Literally. These are what psychological advantages, all right? So now let's look at the strategies for digital professionals, okay? This is what we call the skill result framework. Now let's look at the skill and the result framework, okay? So let's look at this. Please everybody pay attention. This is very important, okay? There's level 1. There are 3 levels to which candidates present their capabilities or their capacities, you get. Most candidates are operating at level 1, which is the skill. The skill is, I know Facebook ads. This is a universal claim. I did skill-to-skill training. I can run ads. That's one. The second one is result. I ran ads that reduce cost per lead by 40%. Strong claim. I don't just know how to run ads, but I created an ad campaign and I was able to generate leads at 40% the previous result of the company. That is a strong claim. It shows you understand performance. There is proof. Proof is different. I ran ads for a Lagos-based skincare. I reduced cost per lead. Cost per lead is what they call CPL. I reduced cost per lead from 850 naira to 510 naira in 30 days. This is what we call what? This is what we call what? Proof. And then you now give links to campaign results. Available here is the case study for this campaign. Do you see the 3 levels to which you can either show up on your CV? When you put Facebook ads as experience, what you write under it can either be, I know how to run Facebook ads, I can run meta ads, I can run lead campaigns, I can run traffic campaigns, I can run awareness campaigns. You can also do results. I've run ads of 2.5 million, I've generated 40% results, or I've been able to how do you put it? I was able to convert we call it conversion rate, you get. So I ran ads for a campaign. I was able to have a 25% conversion rate for the leads generated, and then we had a 2x ROI, which is return on investment or return on ad spend, which is ROAS. Some of you may not understand all these terminologies. People that run ads will understand, but I want you to get the difference. Somebody is showing they have a skill. Somebody is claiming that his skill has results. Another person is showing his results and has a proof. Do you see the difference? People at level 3 will always have interviews. People at level 3 will what? They will always have interviews. Even small projects, personal projects that can be framed at a level 3 level will definitely have results. Do you understand? Will definitely have results. Okay, so how do you turn your learning experience into practice? I'm going to do this, and then I'm just going to stop here. Then maybe we'll continue module 3 later, because I can't finish this stuff today. I obviously can't finish it, and I don't want to do a poor work on this. I don't want to just rush it. Okay, so we'll have to take this class another day. So how do you now turn your learning and your practice into an actual experience? This is one of the most damaging beliefs amongst entry level people who are entering into, like, some of you don't have experience now. As I'm talking about this CV now, in your brain, you're like, hey, whoa, how do I do this thing? Oh, I don't have experience. So like, you're already feeling fear. Listen, be smart. You are not the first here. Do you understand? Are you listening to me? You are not the first. Okay? People who don't have experience have gotten jobs. You get? So be smart. Don't allow fear to take away your advantage. All right? So there are so many ways. This belief will make you undermine your capacity, one, and you will not have interview. You will not have a CV. You'll be waiting for when you have experience to have a CV. That's how your destiny is going to be waiting. You are looking for money, you want to change career, and you are waiting. There are so many ways. One of the first ways is personal projects. Create a demo Facebook, Instagram account. Let me use Instagram for example. Create a demo Instagram account. Pick a niche. It could be relationship. It could be anything. Start creating content for that niche. It could even be something you like. It could be something you like fashion. And you are just posting fashion videos. You're posting fashion posts. You are doing videos, AI videos of fashion styles. You are posting it. You're getting 100 views, 500 views, 1K views, 2,000 views. You are posting a personal project that can give you level 3 kind of testimonials. Do you understand? It could be a personal website. You finish really web design. You go and buy a domain name. You start creating the website. Do you understand? It could also be your own personal blog or project, or you write a book yourself. You write a book. Don't put your name behind the book. Just write a book. Put anybody's name. Put Madeline Mumbai. Are you Kenyan? Are you Kenyan, Madeline? So you can use Organian. You can use somebody else's name. You get, it's a fictional thing. So you can go and write. I created a book for this person. The book was about this. Kindly check out your Kenyan. Okay, I got the name. So kindly check out the link to the book here. You have just done level 3 result. You're not just telling people you can create content or you can create product. You are showing them that you wrote a book for somebody, and then you are showing them a link to the book so they can check it out. That's level 3 result. You don't need anybody to tell you to create personal project. All right. Another one is freelance work for family and friends. Yes, I know you don't like your elder sister, but if she has a business, do some work for her. Do you understand? Like, listen, when it's time for you to grow with digital skills, it's not the time to be quarreling with people in your family. But some of you, your bad habit and your bad attitude is going to be your downfall. When you are in a growth season of your life, it's not the time to start having family problems. If everybody's quarreling, don't quarrel. Like, just pretend. Yes, pretend. When you succeed, that's when you can be arrogant. Even at that, I wouldn't advise you to be arrogant, because God is not going to be happy with you. However, at least succeed first now. Do you understand? Some people, you are at the worst place of your life, and that's when you're quarreling with everybody that can help. You're even jealous in people that are succeeding. That your friend now that has a business that can pay you 30,000 to do social media management that you're learning. You're not talking to her. You're seeing her WhatsApp status. You're not replying. You say, this girl like show off. Do you understand? Forget about that. Forget about that. Just go and do what you need to do. Send the DM. Oh, I see you're running a business. You need somebody to do designs for you. I want to do a few designs for you. It's okay if you don't like them, but I just want to try to do some design projects for you. If you like them, let me know. You can just choose to pay me. We can have a consistent contract, but let me just do something for you. So that's how you start freelance projects. Number 3, volunteer projects for your church. My digital skills started in church. The first video editing I did in my life was for a teenage camp program. That's the first video editing. Don't ask me how it went. Don't ask me how it looks like. Shall just know that was the first one I did. It was a church. The first design I did was for a church too. Don't ask me how the design was. I shall did design, and it was for a church. And so you see that you can always start with these projects. You understand? Some of them can be, because some of you who are skill to scale, you have project work to do to build the portfolio. So we're definitely going to see a lot of opportunities like that. Okay. Do you understand? So one of the things you need to learn, and you can use AI to do that. What you did is that you can, okay, for instance, now you completed a digital marketing course on Coursera, you get. And then how do you frame it in your CV? Digital marketing project, self-initiated, build and manage the test Google Ads campaign for a mock e-commerce company, achieved 4.8% CTRO versus 2.1% industry average. Now, this is a bit complicated for some of you that are not into digital marketing, but those of you that understand a bit of this, you get the point. You need to know how to convert what you actually did into how it's going to be on your CV. I'm not saying you should lie. You need to know how to position your achievements. A practical way to say it is this. Watch this. You grew your own Instagram when you were practicing. What you're going to say on your CV is social media growth, personal brand, 2023 to 2024. Grew account from 0 to 6,200 followers in 4 months with 9.4% average engagement rate using Reels first content strategy. It's your own Instagram mode that you were posting all your photos and videos, and one of them went viral, or your own TikTok. That's how to frame it. Are you listening to me? It seems like this is where we're in this class. People are not listening to me again. Are you guys listening to me? Good. So you need to know how to go from what I did, from how to frame what I did. It's very important to, if you don't know how to do it, I don't know how to help you. So I gave you guys examples here. Like I said, if you're a paid student of Skill to Scale, you're going to get this slide, and in your group chat, it's going to be sent as a document, so you have nothing to bother about. All right. So how do you showcase your project and your portfolios and your case studies? For digital professionals, I told you guys I did an entire video on portfolio already, so I'm not going to go into that. A portfolio is a document that shows the work that you are doing. All the designs that you're doing is going to be on your portfolio. All the social media that you're managing, you're going to send screenshots and links on your portfolio. So that's what portfolio actually means. Okay. So build a portfolio. I've done a lot of portfolio stuff. So I wouldn't be able to, I don't want to talk about that. If you're a Skill to Scale student, whether you paid for virtual assisting, or you paid for social media management, or you paid for data analysis, all Skill to Scale trainings come with a compulsory project. And your project comes with a compulsory portfolio deliverable. So you see all these things that is on this portfolio part. If you're a committed Skill to Scale student, you automatically achieve it within the 1 to 2 months of your training. Do you understand? Good. Good. So you're going to automatically achieve this, because our trainings are designed to literally guarantee that you come out with a portfolio already as soon as you're done with your training. Okay, so let's talk about CV structure by career level. The structure and emphasis of your CV should shift based on where you are in your career. Let me explain. When you're in the early stage of your career, there are specific things you need to put. When you're in the senior professional or achievement spoke, there are specific things. Let me give you a practical example. When you have 0 to 2 years experience, you need to have a project-first structure. A project-first structure means at this stage, you have limited formal employment experience. Nobody may have employed you, but you can be able to say that you have done this, you have done this, you have done this, you have done this. Do you understand? So a CV has different parts. There are literally about 5 parts of a CV. There is a professional summary, there's the skills and the tools, there is the experience, or what you can call project section, there is education and certification, there is volunteer internship opportunities, and there's extracurricular. These are like 5 stages of a CV. All right, please pay attention to what I'm saying. When you are the beginner, you see where people used to write work experience, you can change your own to project experience. Do you understand now? So you are not lying. You are not telling them you have worked for any client. You are just telling them that you have done something like this. So you can change yours from work experience to project experience. Because work experience kind of means that you actually did an actual work. So that's to help you position yourself, you get. So I've told you already that you need to know how to do things for free. You need to know how to get projects to do. I just said that a few minutes ago. I also told you that you need to know how to recraft what you did and craft it into how you're going to state it in your CV. Do you guys understand that? That's the most important. Now, when you're intermediate level of 2 to 5 years, you want to be result first structure. That's where you talk about the kind of work experience and you talk about the results you have gotten. Do you understand? So your professional summary has to be specialized. When you are at intermediate level, you are no longer a generalist. You are a specialist. You're not just a digital marketer, you are an email marketer. You have gone from doing broad digital marketing to focusing on email marketing as your specialization. You are talking about the email marketing projects you have done and the results, the conversion rates, the open rate, the email campaigns, and all that. So that is what you need to do at your intermediate level. Then at advanced level, you're in where we call your achievement first structure, authority and specialization. That is where you are talking about the books you have written, the courses you have produced in your CV, books you have written, courses you have produced, number of people you have trained, projects you have delivered on, Do you understand? Achievements. You get achievement. Achievement level is where you talk about, oh, if I want to talk about my digital marketing experience, I talk about the fact that I've been able to I've done campaigns of over $100,000. So when I say I've actually been able to I've managed marketing projects of relatively maybe $200,000 to $300,000 cumulatively in my entire 10 years of digital marketing. See, so that is where you come as an achievement. So if I'm writing a CV for myself, I'm not going to be just talking about projects. I'm going to be talking about achievements. Do you understand? The amount of email lists, I've built an email list of literally I've generated over 100,000 leads for literally 17 brands in the last 5 years. That is achievement level. Do you understand? Good. Good. Okay. So let's talk about, I'm rounding up so you guys will ask a few questions, and then we'll have this class again. Don't worry, we'll have this class again. Maybe on Saturday, I'm not exactly sure, but let's see how it goes. So there are 3 versions of the CV system. Please pay attention. There is the master CV. The master CV is your CV that has every project you have done, every tool, every achievement. You almost never send that one out. Your master CV is the one that you keep. Listen, you keep when you do a new course, you go and put the certificate there. When you do a new project, you go and add it there. When you work with a new client, you go and add it there. Do you understand? That is what happens when you have what? A master CV. Then there is a role-specific CV. Now, in your master CV, you can have email management, social media management, copywriting as the kind of things that you have done. In your role-specific CV, copywriting has its own CV. Email marketing has its own CV. Do you understand? Running ads has its own CV. Media buying or social media advertiser has its own CV. Do you understand? Okay. So this is basically what we call role-specific CV. And then there is speculative or networking CV. This is what you use for cold outreaches, referrals, networking conversations. This is not really a CV per se. It's a summary of the kind of value you offer. It's more like a pitch deck. It's more like, my name is Chigozie Nko. I'm a digital marketer. I've been in digital marketing for the last 5 years. Here are the kind of projects I've done. This is the kind of experience I have. You get. If you have anybody who have this kind of needs, I can actually help them. Here's my contact details. You can do it as a Word document. You can do it as a presentation slide. This is for networking purposes. Do you understand? This is when you meet someone who is like, oh, wow, you're a digital marketer. That's great. I would love us to talk. I want to know more about what you do. You don't send them your role-specific CV. You send them your networking CV. That one is more like an informal CV that just tells somebody about what you do, the problems you solve. It's like a pitch. You only send a CV when somebody asks you, send me your CV. Do you understand? Okay? If you listen, if you are going to be looking for jobs, or you're going to be working for clients for a long time in your life, it's better you use 1 month and sit down and develop a strategic career path and work on these various CV versions, so that your life is going to turn out better than it currently is. Honestly speaking, the result you are looking for is in the work you have not done. Do you understand? The results that you want to see, I want to make $1,000, I want to do $500 a month, is in the work you have not done. And what I'm showing you today is the work you have not done. Do you understand? Okay, so let's talk about aligning your CV to specific roles. This is where I'm going to round up, so you can start. If you have questions, you can start preparing your questions. All right, so now print or paste the job description into a document. Pay attention. Oh, for every role you apply for, you need that job description. Okay, so like, how do I say this? If you want to be employed at skill to skill, Look for a job description for a role at skill to scale. Paste it on a document. Do you understand? Find out the underlying skill that they say they need. Find out the underlying tools that they need you to be able to do well. Find out the qualifications that they need and the outcome of the job description. Listen, count how many times each term appears, the frequency of priority. Every job description, unconsciously, they will tell you the one that is important to them. You're going to realize that there's a particular thing they keep reinstating in the job description. It shows you how important it is. Identify which of those experiences you genuinely have. Which one do you genuinely have? Pay attention. Oh. Which one do you genuinely have? Which one do you need to have? Separate them. Which one do you genuinely have? Which one do you need to have? Now, rewrite your summary. Yes, your CV is going to start, because some of you don't even know how a CV looks like. So as I'm talking like this now, you're like, show me a CV. Let me see it. Don't worry, I'll show you a CV in the next class, if you're going to be in the next class. Okay? You have to rewrite your summary, and the top 5 bullet points in your summary should naturally align with those key things you saw in the job description. An example, pay attention. An example will be if they said they need somebody who is good in sales administration and customer relationship management. They mentioned it so many times. They also need somebody who is fluent in AI research or some kind of AI management tools. Now, in your professional summary, you need to be able to point out, my name is Chigozie Nkwo. I am fluent in, I have competence in this thing that you said you need. I have experience and I've been able to handle challenges in this thing you said you need. You don't say you said you need, or you just mention it there. Do you understand? You need to make sure that the key skills, tools, qualifications, and outcomes that they want from the job description is factored into your professional summary. Do you understand? The skills section of your CV needs to perfectly align. Are you guys with me? Are you guys with me? Good. The skills section of your CV needs to perfectly align with the skills section of the job description. Do you understand? So this is, see, I said this thing to some people I was talking to, we're coaching at this year, which is the Central House Career Development Program. And I said this very clearly. People employ people who they genuinely believe solve the problem they have in their company. The only thing your CV should be trying to do is to prove to the hiring manager that, please pay attention, to prove to the hiring manager that you have the capacity to solve the problem they have in their company. Because every employee is a problem solver for the employer. Do you understand? Okay. Like I said, I will say I'm not going to send you guys my CV. I don't even have a CV. Like I run 4 companies. What am I using the CV to do? So I don't have a CV anymore. I used to have some years ago when I was pushing my agency and then like applying for some roles internationally and all that as well. You get to a point where you don't need that anymore in my industry. So in my industry, I get projects without any of that, just majorly either through relationships or the company portfolio. Okay, but I would definitely have to find very good CVs that can be exemplary for that. All of you that don't know what a CV is, just go and Google CV and you're going to literally see it there. All right, because some of you don't understand what I'm talking about. Like all these things, you're enjoying me, you're enjoying what I'm saying, but you don't understand. As I'm talking now, just go to Google and do professional standard CV and download it and be looking at it. As I'm looking at me now, just be looking at it. You're going to understand most of what I'm talking about, okay? So if you're missing a core requirement, don't lie. Instead, lead with what you are most efficient in. If they say they need somebody, if they say they need somebody who understands Notion, who knows how to use Trello, who knows how to use HubSpot, who knows how to do use Zoom and Google Meet, and the only one you know is Zoom, Google Meet, and HubSpot. Instead of you lying that you know how to use Notion, go two things. What I used to advise people is take out the next 2 days, sit down, watch 7 videos on Notion, download Notion, do a project on Notion, screenshot it, add it to your portfolio, and go and tell you how to do Notion. Shikina. If you don't have the time to do that, forget about Notion. Just focus on the ones that you know how to do, you get, and the one that is related to it. Do you understand? That's it for today. All right.
Where did we start? All right, I'm going to do a quick overview in a way to make it easier. Then I'll just go straight to the other part of what we did not really do in the last training. Is that okay? Is that okay? Okay. All right, so we talked about how you can master writing CV, and I had also mentioned way earlier on in the previous class how it is very important for you to understand the fundamentals of CV writing, which is one of the perfect ways to understand what needs to be written in a CV is to know who is the one going to be judging the CV. If you write from the eyes of the person judging, you're more likely to write a better CV. Okay? Someone who did a job is trying to position themselves in the best position they think is better. So you can be writing a CV and you're trying to tell people how you did a social media management project. It was very massive, and the company is looking for a virtual assistant who is good in CRM. So even if you're a virtual assistant, but you have a very strong background in social media assisting and management, however, the company is looking for somebody who's good in customer relationship management tools like HubSpot and the rest of the others. So always being able to see your entire career from the point of the person who needs to hire you would give you in a better position. Okay, will put you in a better position rather. So I had talked about the difference between a CV and a resume. I'm not going to talk about it again. Like I said, you guys have access to the notes, so you can obviously still look at it yourself, okay? Despite all the differences, I'd mentioned that when you're writing a CV, the maximum you can actually do is to make it 2 pages. Now, if you are applying for, let's say, board of directors, let's say you're applying to join the board of a company, you know, there are some things that you're trying to do that people have the time to look at your CV. But when you're applying for primary, secondary roles, it's just better you stick to maximum of 2 pages. And I told you guys that even though it sounded ridiculous, but it's only when you're writing a CV to your uncle or your auntie that you can actually do a full 2-page CV. Otherwise, it should be at least a page and a half, at most a page and a half. You get like one page and then half of another. That's all. All right. So if it's not your family member you are writing to, or somebody that is already going to employ you because your father knows him, your father's friend, just stick to making your CV as brief as possible. I established that in full context. Okay. So I had also mentioned that there are specific things that people who are hiring are looking for. They are looking for somebody. See, nobody enters the market to hire just because they have time. You get, like, a CEO doesn't just look at his company and be like, you know what, I have free time. I'm going to look for who to hire. I'm looking for where to spend the money I'm making. No, They have needs, they have problems. So the CEO is sitting down and is like, God, I have a problem. My customers are not well satisfied. I need somebody to help me manage my customers and increase customer satisfaction. So he goes to the market with that expectation. And one of the things that most of us do relatively is that you are trying to push what you think you are good at on somebody who has a different needs. It's like somebody is thirsty and you're trying to sell the person apple. For goodness sake, apple is good, it's nice, it has water inside, but I'm thirsty. And so you have to be able to understand that the hiring manager or the CEO, whoever is looking at the CV, is asking his or herself one question: can this person do this job? If yes, okay, has this person done it before? If yes, does this person have the character, the cultural fit to fit into my company? 3 questions. So if your CV answers the question of the founder is like, I need somebody to help me make more sales, and your CV answers, can this person help me make more sales? Yes. Have they done it before? Yes. If your CV shows that you've done it before, do they have the cultural fit? Yes. You've gotten the job. You've gotten the job. Most of what gets people interviews are the first 2 questions. Can this person do this? Yes. Have they done it before? Yes. Give them an interview. The interview is to see whether you fit into the culture of the company. That's why you hear a lot of people talk about interviews and they're like, oh, I went for an interview. They were just asking me questions. They were not even asking me any serious. It's because your CV has done the job already. If you go for an interview and they're asking you, okay, so what have you done before? It means your CV was so shallow that they couldn't get whether you have done it before. So you need to be able to answer those questions. Have I done it? Can I do it? Yes, I can do it. And have I done it before? Yes. Sometimes your CV can answer the question, can I do it? Yes. Have I done it before? No, but I need you to know I can. And so these are the various things that apply with respect to that. All right. So beyond those core questions, we talked about 2: proficiency, self-direction, communication quality, growth mindset, and a whole lot of others. I'd gone through this thing. We had gone through why CV fails. 15 things that make CVs fail. So we've looked at all these things already. We've looked at the psychology of hiring, how bias affects shortlisting. You know, we talked about the halo effect, social proof, cognitive load, recency bias, which is the last work experience you do have way more, you put on your CV rather, has way more impact. Way more impact than every other thing you've done previously. So we talked about the CV strategy for digital professionals, the difference between skills, results, and proof. We've talked about how to turn your learning and your practice experience into things that you can put on your CV. Because most of you have this question, I've not practiced anything. I don't know anything. How can I make sure that people hire me even without 0 work experience? That's what I'm talking about. This is what I talked about, the learning and the practice optimization, all right? We also talked about how to showcase projects, portfolios, case studies, and all that. We talked about the 3 versions of the CV system. We talked about why you should have a master CV. A master CV should have every work experience and everything you have done. Your master CV is generally for your purpose. That's one you used to put so that you can, because some of you used to do things, but it doesn't reflect in your CV. Okay, so the master CV is where you put all your graphics, all your video editing, and even if you know UI UX design, you know programming, you know graphics design, you know photo social media management, everything stands in your master CV. Then you have role specific CV, which is a CV that is designed for specific things, such as I want to apply for virtual assistant jobs. I have a CV just for virtual assistant jobs. I want to apply for social media management jobs. I have a CV just for that. So we call it role specific CV. And we have a CV that's for speculative, or what we call speculative or networking CV, which is a CV that just shows people your most credible. Like, for instance, now, if I have results in digital marketing, founding a company, like I can have a networking or a speculative CV, which is I've done a lot of things over the last 25 years or 15 years or 20 years of business, and I want to show somebody that I can do stuff. So I go for an event, I meet somebody who is like, oh, Sien, I kind of like you. You seem very great. You understand? You know what? I'm going to send you, I just want to send you like my profile. It has a little bit of some of the things that I've done so that you look at it. And if there's any way I can help, that would be great. Do you understand? So for instance, now I can create a speculative CV and go to my LinkedIn. And when people are requesting to connect with me on LinkedIn, I can send them a DM and tell them, oh, good afternoon. I see you are requesting networking from me. I looked at your profile. You're really the kind of people I want to network with and build relationship with you. And please, I'm not trying to sell you anything. I want you to know my competences. And if you need help in any of these things, I would love to see how I can be of help to you, or I and my companies can be of help to you. So I have this document or this CV that shows my competencies and how I can be extremely helpful to people. Do you understand? That's what we call speculative or networking CV. So I talked about aligning your CV with specific roles. We talked about ATS and AI optimization. Have you guys forgotten? We talked about how to optimize your CV for AI. Because anybody that receives more than 200 CVs, they use AI to process it. They always use AI to process it, all right? Then there is the keyword optimization strategy. I talked about that as well too. We've talked about all this. Those of you that are just joining for the first time, go back to part 1 of the training and ensure that you're able to go through everything. Where we kind of stopped was around module 4, which is step-by-step CV creation, which is where everybody asks a question, how do I actually write a CV? All right, so there are different parts of a CV, and then there is the header. The header is what we call your professional identity, all right? So it has your full name, not your nickname, not your baptismal name, not the name your mother gave you when she saw that you were so like you had lived 14 years. She saw you were very, very strong, and she said, oh, this guy is Samson. And so she named you like a second or third name Samson. I mean your birth certificate name. Do you understand? And not the one your grandmother calls you when you go to the village every single year. I mean, when you hear full name, please, birth certificate is the full name, not NIN, because some of you, there's a great disparity between what you told Nigeria you are, who you told Nigeria you are, and who you really are from birth. All right. Not to talk about the fact that you're going to have issues over time in your life when it comes to that, especially when you want to do international passports. Your NIN has a different name for your birth certificate. You're going to have a problem with that. So you want to make sure you maintain your full name, the actual name of your birth certificate. But some of you who have forgotten, you don't even know what your birth certificate looks like. You only know your NIN name. Stick to that one. All right. That's your full name. Are you guys following? Do you understand what I'm talking about? Are you guys following? If you're following, please drop a comment. Let me know you're following. Comment, guys. Comment in the comment section. Comment. That's how I know you're following. Comment. All right. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful children of God. Beautiful children of God. Okay. So there is professional title. This is now where you put what is your professional title. Now, for clarity purposes, okay, I'm going to assume I'm talking to virtual assistants, but I know some of you aren't just virtual assistants. So your professional title shouldn't exceed more than 2 titles. Okay, so you can do something like virtual assistant and data analyst. Now, my assumption is that this is your general CV. It is not your niche specific CV. If this is your niche specific CV, you are only allowed to put one role that that particular CV is for, which is role specific CV. Do you understand? So this is not let me make this a little bit easier and simpler for us to understand, okay? The role you should most likely be putting on your CV is the role you are most likely applying for, or the role that best represents your current expertise. So if your current experience and expertise is virtual assistant, you should put virtual assistant. But if the company is looking for a sales virtual assistant, and you also have experience for a sales virtual assistant, don't put your title as virtual assistant, put your title as sales virtual assistant. The closer you are to what they need, the more likely you are to get an interview. Remember what I said when I started this class in part 1. The interview is your goal. Your CV's purpose is to get you an interview, not to get you a job yet. The purpose of the interview is to help you secure the job. Do you understand what I'm saying? So that has to do your professional title. Match it to the role you are applying for, if possible. If not, match it to as close to the role you are applying for. All right. So phone number. Use a number that you can actively monitor. WhatsApp, preferably. You get, because some of you have 6 lines. One is for all the people that used to know you when you were childhood friends. The other one is for your family members only. Another one is for all your enemies, your ex, and all that. Like, there's no need, okay? Like, there's no need for that amount of number. But your primary phone number, like, if you, I have a number of phone numbers. You get, I have a phone number I use exclusively for team activities and managing my companies. You get, that's like one phone number. Unfortunately, that phone number is not available by call. So if I am to be doing my CV, that's not the phone number I'm going to put. Or there's one other phone number. It's the phone number I'm going to put on calls. It's the phone number I'm going to put, like, that is one phone number. If you call me now, that's the phone that rings. That's the one I pick. Any other phone that rings, and there are quite a number of phones, I will not pick it. There's only one phone that I pick the call on, that phone. And that's my primary phone number. So that's the phone number you want to have on your CV, the one that you pick. If you have 3 numbers you pick because somehow your life is that interesting, make sure you select one out of those 3 numbers that you will prioritize. Does that make sense? Do you understand what I just said? All right, good. Now, let's talk about your professional email address. I talked about this a little bit, but I'll put it more into context. Everybody, for goodness sake, this is strong enough to put for God's sake, but no, let's just say for goodness sake, all right? Your email address should be your name and your surname. You can separate it with full stop, chigozie.nkwo. You can separate it with hyphen. You can add things like what we call prefix, like admin, in case your name and your surname. For instance, if you're answering something like James Johnson, there are so many James Johnson in this world that you cannot get jamesjohnson@gmail.com. So you can put something like admin James Johnson. You can put something like va.James Johnson. You can put something as real.James Johnson. You can also put something as official.James Johnson. So you see that there are so many things you can put, you understand? Like, just to cite, you don't have to put a year, because some of you, I don't know why you like years. You get Francis Peters, 2024. Why 2024? Even if it's the year you gave your life to Christ, it doesn't have to be in the email. Do you understand? So as much as you can, use an email that qualitatively just tells this is this human being. First name, last name, or something similar to it. Do you understand? Chigozie, Nko, Frank, Justin, Christabel, Antonia, or Anthony. Let me look for somebody's name. Zainab, Aliu. Just straight up. Do you understand? Today's age, LinkedIn is a part of your CV. LinkedIn is a higher dimension of your CV. So you have to put your LinkedIn URL. If you're a graphics designer, video editor, social media management, and relatively even virtual assistant, or any single role that needs a portfolio. I explained what a portfolio is the last class. A portfolio, ensure that the link to your portfolio is in the header. And then finally, your country. You get, okay? Lagos, Nigeria, not your state, you understand. You get. Lagos, Nigeria, you can put in bracket, open to remote, right? Abuja, Akwa Ibom, Nigeria, not to go and put Kangaroo Street, Akwa Ibom, by Johnson. No, not necessary. Do you understand? Akwa Ibom, Nigeria, or is it Akwa Ibom is state? Sorry, guys, sorry. I've forgotten my 36 states. But you just put your primary, the state, and your country, all right? Accra, Ghana, Nairobi, Kenya, Kampala, Uganda. Very simple. Don't stress it, okay? Things that you should not put. Date of birth. We don't want to know your age. Usually, when a company is trying to hire people and is trying to specify based on age, they call it discrimination. So companies don't put age. They also do not put gender. Do you understand? Now, you can put your picture, but your picture is useless, so better don't put it. Nobody wants to see your face. I told you guys why you shouldn't see your face the last time. Your religion, your tribe, your marital status, number of children, not necessary. Okay? Full home address. Don't put before they come and kidnap you. It's not like they will kidnap you, but don't put it. Do you understand? Does that make sense? Are you here? Does that make sense? Are you guys following? Those of you that have questions, hold your questions, okay? Hold it with your right hand. Hold your questions with your right hand. I will come back to your questions very soon. All right? Back to work. So, now, professional summary. And this is very important. This is the, can I do most important? This is the most important part of your, this is the most important and the most read part of your CV. If you fail here, you have failed. Your professional summary is 70% of your entire CV. 70%. Okay? So the professional summary gives the first impression of your position statement and your pitch. It's like a pitch. You know what they call a pitch? You get elevator pitch, which is how do you sell yourself in 4 sentences? Do you understand? Okay, so a powerful professional summary answers 4 questions. Your title, experience level, course specialization, what you do best, what results you have produced, and what you are looking for. A practical example now would be, I'm Chigozie Nko, virtual assistant, 4 years helping businesses in social media management assisting. Title, experience, specialization. I've helped over 25 entrepreneurs grow their social media. Do you understand? Grow their social media by over 1,000%. I've helped them generate over 1 million impressions, 50,000 followers. Do you understand? And a 7% engagement rate on several social media platforms with LinkedIn and Instagram at the core. Quantified achievement that proves capacity. That's what I just showed you guys. You get. I am looking to help more entrepreneurs, more passionate and vision-driven entrepreneurs establish their personal brand as a virtual their personal brand in their various industries and help them build credibility in the digital space. So this is for a job role where a CEO is looking for a virtual assistant that can help with the social media, as probably maybe calendar management or some other things. So your professional summary has to be a gidiba. Do you understand? I know what a gidiba is. It may not apply directly, but it's still part of the point. Do you understand? So now let's look at the comparison between strong and weak professional summary. Weak professional summary is, I'm a hardworking, dedicated digital marketer, professional with passion for social media and content creation. I'm a fast learner who's always motivated. I learn new things. I contribute positively to any organization I'm part of. I'm looking to a challenging position that will allow me grow professionally. That is a weak. As big and as gracious as this sound, it doesn't make any sense at any point. A strong professional statement is, I'm a digital marketing specialist with 2 years experience in social media management and meta ads execution for Nigerian consumer brands. I grew a personal Instagram account from 0 to 6,200 followers in 4 months with 9.4% average engagement rate. I've managed over 2 million in paid social media with 3.4x average ROAS, which is return on ad spend, seeking a performance marketing role where I can build measurable social growth for a fast-moving brand. This is it. Your professional summary shouldn't be looking like a child that is suffering from kwashiorkor. Do you understand? It shouldn't be looking like a beggar, because you see this weak thing, some of your professional summary sounds like beggarly. I'm passionate about, I can help you. I need you. That's how your professional summary starts. I need you, man. I can help you. I will do anything for you. Anything you want me to do in this ed, I will do. Just employ me. That's what some of your professional summary is screaming. Help me, help me. Do you understand? Your professional summary is supposed to be screaming, I can add value to you. If you pass me, you may not get anybody like me. I'm going to change your business. I've done it before. You need me. You need me. That is how your professional summary is supposed to be crying. Do you understand? Don't tell me you did not get a job after 6 months. So it will be your fault that you did not get a job. After paying for digital skill and spending hours learning, you still don't get a job in the next 3 months. It's your fault. Pay attention to what I'm saying. Do you understand me? Your summary is the most worthy place for customization for your specific application. So you may not change your experience most of the times. You may not change your experience, you may not change your achievements, you may not change some things, but you see your professional summary. Please always make sure it aligns to that specific role you're applying for. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Good. Beautiful. So let's talk about the skill section. This is the second most important part. So a random list of 30 skills is cognitively overwhelming. When you hear cognitively overwhelming, it means it's mentally stressful. If you write 30 skills for somebody to read all of them, to know the skills you have, you're stressing somebody's brain. Do you understand? So you need to categorize your skills to show structure, structured thinking, you get. So group your skills in 3 or 5 clear categories for the relevant role. Digital advertising. You can now put Meta Ads Manager, Google Ads Manager, TikTok, programmatic, retargeting, that's digital advertising. Analytics and data. Google Analytics 4, Meta Business Suite, Power BI Basics, Excel, content and creative, Canva, Adobe, Lightroom, CapCut, copywriting, email copywriting, SEO, on-page SEO, technical audit, WordPress, Yoast screening for SEMrush, those things, project management and client management, Notion, Trello, Asana, HubSpot. So categorize your skill. Do you understand? What to include versus what to exclude. Include tools that you can genuinely use to deliver professional quality work. If asked to prove it in an interview or test, you would pass. Let me set a very clear example. If you have never used Notion before, don't go and put Notion as the skills you can use. Because you see that interview, your first question will be, oh, please kindly show us how you can do this on Notion. Don't give your village people any chance to bring shame to you. Do you understand? Don't give people or your enemies any chance to bring shame and disappointment to you. Only use tools that you can genuinely use to deliver professional quality work, okay? Exclude tools that you have merely heard of. Something that you have watched only one tutorial on, but you have never practiced. Do you understand? Only use tools that you have used before and you can use to do, even if it's a very simple task. Do you understand? For interview purposes, okay? Now, include both current tools and relevant fundamentals. Example, list Excel even if you only use it for Power BI. List Meta Business Suite even if you only use it for when you want to manage or you want to schedule posts for clients. Do you understand? Okay? Include relevant tools that are basically just fundamental, all right? Exclude universal tools like internet browsing, Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, University, iPhone camera is a universal tool. Don't go and put tools that YouTube. Don't go and say I can use YouTube. Do you understand? Everybody can use YouTube. Do you understand? So put only tools that you know are skill-based, okay? That is for your what? Skill section. Now, for your work experience session, this is where, you know that stuff I talked about, the different ways in which you can, you have to, if you haven't watched the previous one, you probably wouldn't get this, but I will try my best, okay? This is where your CV gives you the best chance of succeeding, you get. If you did your professional statement well, this is a place where you close the deal. Do you understand? There's a difference between a tax list and a proof of value, okay? So your experience should have a strong action you did, strong action of verb, what you did, measurable results, method or tool or context. I'm looking for a very simple way to make you guys understand this thing I'm talking about, but how do I do this? You can do something like, I scaled Facebook ads. There's ROAS. If you hear me say ROAS, it means return on ad spend. It's a digital marketing terminology, all right? I scaled the Facebook ads from 1.5x. 1.5 means, okay, which is what it means. Those of you that you get confused, okay? When you hear somebody scaled an ad and you see 1.5, 1.8, 2x, it means that that ad was making 2 times the money they put inside it. So if they spent 10,000 naira on the ad was making how much? 20,000 naira. Do you understand? So when I say I scaled the Facebook ads from 2x to 4x, I'm trying to say that an advert was making 20,000 naira before, and I worked on that advert and it's now making 40,000 naira without increasing the initial amount of money they were spending. So somebody was putting 10,000 naira, making 20,000 naira from an ad. I did not increase the amount, but I took that money, that 10,000 naira to 40,000 naira every single time that money was spent. That is what we call return on ad spend. I'm saying it because some of you may need it in the future where you are going to, all right? So an example would be, I scaled the Facebook ads ROAS, which is return on ad spend, from 2x to 4x by restructuring the campaign architecture and introducing dynamic creative testing across a product category. So I did not just tell them I know how to use Facebook ads. I told them I know how to use Facebook ads. I have gotten results, and this is how I got the result: a strong action. What was the action? I scaled Facebook ads. What did I do? What was the what did I do? I scaled the ad from 2x to 4x. What was the result? 2x to 4x. What method? I changed campaign. The method, the reason why method, tool, and context is important is this: people want to know you have sense and you know what you are talking about. When you say you scaled Facebook ads, and you now say I scaled Facebook ad by posting consistently online, somebody will know this guy is a liar, because you cannot scale a Facebook ad by posting. So if you say I gained followers and gained impressions by posting more consistently and by by using a better content strategy that doubled engagement in 6 months, somebody knows you are a good social media manager, you have sense, you know what you're talking about, because it works. Methodologically, it works. As a method of growth, somebody can do that and get that result. Do you understand? Do you understand what I'm saying? So choose verbs that express ownership, initiative, and impact. Do you understand? Don't put words like I helped, I assisted, I worked on. Put words that talks about I scaled, I increased, I generated, I drove, I boosted, I accelerated, I built, I launched, I created, I developed, I produced, I optimized, I reduced, I streamlined. I led, I directed, I oversaw, I mentored, I supervised, I analyzed, I identified, I researched, I mapped, I evaluated. These are the various words that you can use. Use very strong, clear words. Do you understand? Okay, so let's talk about the metric questions and how to quantify everything. The most common objection for candidates is that I don't have the metrics. I don't know the exact numbers. Okay, that's what some of you are saying. I just know that I manage the social media grew. How do I do it? So what you do is that you use approximations and ranges that are honestly. So you can say, I scaled the campaign from about. Did you see the about I used? About. So I'm not sure what the ROAS was, how many times they were increasing the money, but I know it should be about. So I scaled a campaign from about 1.5x to approximately, I don't know the exact X, how many times, like that 10,000 example I was giving you. I scaled it from making 15,000 naira to maybe about 30K. 30K is 3 point something. So I'm going to say I scaled the campaign from about 1.5x to approximately 3x. Do you see how I did that? Use approximations. I generated, if you know, I don't know, remember how many leads I generated for that client, so, but I know that at least it was 200. I know I saw 200 and something. Or I know it was more than 200. I don't know whether it was 300 or 400, but it was more than 200. The last time I checked it, I saw 200 and something. You can now say I scaled it to over 200. I generated over 200 leads. Do you understand? Okay. So you can also say I led a team of about 8 people. Use the word about, approximately, over, at least. Do you understand? Then there's what we call relative metrics. Reduce production line by roughly half. Doubled weekly content output. Doubled. Do you see doubled? Doubled. Reduced by roughly doubled. These are what we call the relative metrics. They are not very clear exact things, but they are relative, all right? So use activity metrics when outcome metrics aren't available. So, for instance, now, if you don't know how many growth, you do not know how many followers the person got, but you know you posted every single day. You can say, I published monthly 30 contents every single month. This is outcome based. Do you understand? Outcome based metrics. You get outcome based metrics where you don't know what the result. For instance, I don't know if you run ads, you don't know what the result of the ad was. The person did not tell you. The person is always telling you run ads. But you know how much you spent on ads. You spent 2 million on ads. You can use that. I've run an ad of about 2 million naira. Even if you don't know the result of the ad, you do know that I have put in this effort. Do you understand? All right. Another way you can do is go back and sit down and calculate your results. Some of you are doing like people that they dash job. Everything you are looking like privilege. You cannot sit down and ask yourself, what growth have I made in this job? Since you have been doing social media management for 4 years, you have not sat down to ask yourself, wait, how many people have I worked with? Uncle John, Benita, and James, that wicked woman, Angela. Did I say that? Okay, no. That's not part of it. That's a mistake, all right? Angela, that man that used to call me every day by 3 p.m., 4, 5. Use your brain and calculate 10, 9. Yes, Mama Jane. Yeah, you calculate all of them. And like, okay, I've served 10 clients. Wow, 10 clients. I know I've served 10 clients. So then you start thinking, hey, let me check Mama Nkechi Jen and Instagram. I don't know, but I think this Instagram did like 50 followers. Mama Nkechi, 50 followers. Uncle John did not get any followers, but I posted 20 times for him. Uncle John, 20 times. Mama Nkechi, 5 times. You sit down and be like a responsible somebody that wants to grow. Do you understand? Do you understand me? Be like a very responsible person that wants to grow and figure out what kind of progress you have made in your life. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Good. So we have the project section. So the project section is, most people don't even have projects on their CV, which is unfortunate, but most people don't have projects on their CV because people don't think it's very important to get. For people who are digital professionals, you want to, projects are one of the ways you show your effort into something. Do you understand? Like when you, what is a project and what is a job? Because some people, there's a difference between work experience and project, okay? An example would be, there's a client that my agency worked with directly on social media management. That is what's called a project. We helped her manage her social media. That's what, that's like a work experience rather. It's a direct job. I can put that on another work experience. But there is this other one. I'm not the only person on the team. Do you understand? It was me and some other people, you get. Now, I can put that one as a particular project and talk about my efforts in the project, you get. There are also some other things I can put as project, things that I did that were not client's job. Remember what I told you guys. You create a demo client and call the demo client Alice. Alice Farouk Alice. She's a coach, she's beauty coach. She sells makeup products, and you create a demo project for her, and you execute on the demo project, That is basically what we call project, okay? So there's a project part of your CV. So you can be like Instagram brand launch. I used Meta Business Suits, Canva, and from October to December 2023. Another thing that fits into project is probably when you have, it was a time frame thing, something that took 6 months, 7 months, 9 months. So you categorically can put it on that project. All right, so that's on that project. Project is relatively almost the same thing with work experience, except that they are usually time framed. And what's the easier way to do this? Let me give you an example. Project name. What tool did you use or what platform did you use? The month, the year, the duration of the project you get. What was the objective of the project? What was the result you got? And the link to the project. So this is how you put in project. Meanwhile, when it comes to work experience, this is how you put in work experience. The verb, the action that you did, what you did, the measurable result, and the tools or the context. Do you see that? So there are two different things, all right? Now, let's go to education. Education is not deciding. Very few people employ people based on their educational qualifications. You get. Education and certifications are not deciding factors. They help, but not as much as you think they help. All right. So when it has to do with your education, what you put is your degree type. That's the reason why some of you are putting primary school, secondary, those are not important. Okay. Your degree type, the institution name, the year. Do you understand? You can put your final year project if for any reason it appeals to the context of what you are doing. For instance, if you did an MSc as a mass communicator and you did that MSc relative to social media, something on social media, and you are now applying for a role relating to social media leadership. Do you see how that works? Putting your MSc project now becomes significant in what you're applying for. All right. So you can get certifications based on what you're applying for. For instance, Google has certifications that are free. Meta has certifications that are free. HubSpot has certification. Google Analytics has certification. IBM, Coursera, Udemy, or they all have certification projects. So you put the certification and then you put what you actually did. Like I said, how you put it is certification, institution name, and graduation year. All right. Then you can now put awards and recognition, certification, education, awards, and okay, this is for education, this is for certification rather. Optional but high impact. If you have other serious languages like French, German, Spanish, Korean, you can add it there because they create international opportunities for you. Awards and recognition, maybe a social media award, an award from your previous workplace, best staff of the year, blah, 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 you get. Now, if you've written a book, an article or any publication or something very serious, you also want to be able to put it here as well too. You get, this is for senior professionals, things like thought leadership, conference appearances, volunteer work opportunities, and professional associations, all right? So this is just basically what we consider to be the context of your CV. I'm going to show you guys some examples, so don't worry. I promise I was going to show you guys at least one example of a fairly good CV. I don't want to do a very heavy standard CV that you may not be able to connect with or relate with. So I'm going to use kind of a fair CV that you can just easily understand it. Let's see. Okay. I do have one. I'm going to show you guys after, by the grace of God. Let me see. Oh man. All right. Okay. Sorry, guys. Okay, so let's talk about advanced strategy for continuous optimization, because a CV is not something you write once and that is it. No, it's not the Bible. It's not your Bible. Okay, you don't write a CV once and then that is all that happens. You must consistently be able to work on a CV. Okay, so most people just work on one CV and they stop. No, you should be able to improve your CV month in, month out, year in, year out. Okay, so remote and international roles represent some of the highest paying opportunities, especially for us Nigerians, and some of them come with specific expectations and screening criteria that are different from somebody who's hiring you from a local company or more or less like a Nigerian company, right? So when it has to do with optimizing your CV for remote work, there are specific things you need to be able to add. Do you understand? There's this phrase, experienced working autonomously across zones. You know what autonomous means now. It means without supervision. You get on your own. That's what autonomous means. Okay, so when you put something like I'm experienced working autonomously across time zones, it triggers the international company that you are somebody that can work at 1 a.m. Nigerian time, 3 a.m. Nigerian time. That is the experience to working autonomously across what? Time zones. And then there's what? Strong written communication, async collaborative skills. So for instance, now, if you're doing remote stuff, you always need to type, connect, all those things. So you need to be able to type and speak. So saying you have a strong written communication and you can async, because this async means I can work with other people. I can connect with other people and collaborate with other people and other skills that are necessary. Do you understand? Okay. So you also want to mention, explicitly mention tools that are related to remote work. You cannot be applying for a remote work and nothing about Zoom, Slack, Loom, Notion, Asana, anything concerning remote working is connected to anything you know. It's not wise. Do you understand? It's not what? It's not wise. So you want to explicitly be able to mention that, oh, I can also use Zoom, by the way. Oh, I can also use Slack, by the way. Oh, Loom is like a video software for feedback, okay? I can also use Loom, by the way. Oh, I can also use Asana or Trello, otherwise, okay? This is the language that triggers somebody who is looking for people to work remotely, that this person understands the terrain. You understand what? The terrain. Do you understand? Okay? Another thing you can do is you can state very clearly that you are available to overlap with UK, that is European time zones, or US time zones. So you can say, I'm available to overlap with the UK or EU time zones, or I'm open to sync, or you can put asynchronous work with US Eastern Coast, because they call it Eastern time zone, you get. So US Eastern Coast hours. This is a way to tell the client that, see, I understand you people, you get. Like, it removes that friction of, Nigeria, okay? This Nigerian, are we ready to hire a Nigerian? When you tell them and make them feel like, see, I'm in your world. I may be in Nigeria, but I can work in the US time. I can work in UK time. These are the things that makes you stand out. Why every other person is submitting CVs that are showing, hey, well, I can use stand out. You're telling them, it's not just that I can use these tools. I understand your terrain. You get, I can work with your time. I can use the tools that you use. I can adapt to it. You understand? Okay. So remote employers measure output, not attendance. So this is one of the big things when you have anybody who's hired remotely, when they are checking your CV, do you know what they are checking for? They are checking for, is this person showing anything that is significant to results, because we are going to be paying her monthly. And we are not going to be, it's not because she's going to come in, even if they are going to be stand-up meetings, but they are not paying you for attendance. So you must be able to put your bullet points, must demonstrate self-directed achievement. Everything must be able to say, I'm responsible. You don't need to check on me. You don't need to know how I'm doing. I always deliver. That should be what your words should be communicating. Do you understand? A portfolio link is non-negotiable. You cannot be applying for a job as a VA and you only sent them CV and your CV doesn't have your portfolio link. That is why they never called you back. You cannot be applying for a data analyst role and you only sent a CV without any link to a portfolio. That's why you never heard from them. A portfolio is one of the things that gives you an edge, so people see the work you have done, especially for remote, creative, and technical roles. International employers cannot meet you. Your work must show them that you know what you are talking about, all right? Your CV is your writing test. For goodness sake, no grammatical error. We're in the AI age. There's nobody that wants to make you, like, even you cannot have a mistake. Use Grammarly. It has a free version. Do you understand? Okay. Now, when listing Nigerian case studies on metrics, please put it in US context as well too. Don't go and you're telling a US company that you have run ads of 20 million naira. Do you want them to go and start searching how much is 20 million naira in USD, or how much is 20 million naira in euro or in pounds? Everybody uses dollar, so even people in the United States understand the dollar, so you can just use dollar. When you put a number 20 million, go and do the calculation yourself and put it estimated $3,000 or $30,000. Do you understand? Do you understand? It helps the person understand the scale of what you are doing. You get, because somebody will be like 5 million naira, I don't even know. Maybe they are thinking 5 million naira is like $1,000. You get. So you need to put it in the scale in which they understand. So your portfolio, your LinkedIn, and your portfolio, your CV, and your LinkedIn is an ecosystem. Your CV is a formal credential. It gets you interviews and shortlist and gets you through the ATS system. Your portfolio is a proof of your case studies and life works that you have done, process documentation. It convinces the hiring manager that you have results in what you are doing. Your LinkedIn is what you're showing your brand positioning, contact activity, your bio, your face. That's where they go and look at your face. Yes, that's where they go and look at your face. That's why you cannot be posting rubbish on your LinkedIn. Do you understand? Your LinkedIn profile is that packaging. Personal website, brand authority, thought leadership, blog, detailed. This is where those of you that don't bother about personal website at this level. Don't bother about GitHub, except you're a programmer, front end, back end, full stack. All right. Otherwise, don't bother about all these things as well. Now, headline. Do not use your job title. Please. When you have to do with the headline, don't use your job title. Use a valuable, what we call a value proposition. Meta ad specialist helping e-commerce brands scale ROAS to 3x plus. This is what they call a value proposition. Because some of you, what you're putting on your this thing is, I'm a virtual assistant, I'm a data analyst. No. Put a result that you help people achieve. Do you understand? It gets 5 times more recruiter clicks instead of digital marketer. You get, instead of virtual assisting. You understand? You get VA social media specialist helping personal brands grow their social media and stay consistent online. Do you understand? Okay. There's an about section on LinkedIn. I don't have time to show you guys all this, but there's an about section on LinkedIn. That's where you put an extended personality inclusive version of your CV summary, which is you write in first person, showing genuine expertise. My name is Chigozie. Over the last 25 years, or over the last 5 years, I have been within the digital industry. I have moved from learning social media management to graphic design to this, to this, to this, to this. I've gained experience of over 20 years, having worked with over 35 brands. I have done this and done this and done this and done this. Now I'm positioning myself to be a high-value personnel in a team of very result-driven company You get that's the idea. Do you understand? That's the idea. All right. So you want to talk about yourself that way. Okay. Then there is experience bullets. Mirror your CV bullets within your LinkedIn. All right. LinkedIn has a place where you put experience. LinkedIn has a place where you put skills and endorsement. Do you understand? So you can tell your uncle, some of you have plenty uncles. I don't know how you manage to have 10 uncles, 25 uncles. This is where all your family people become a bit very useful. Avoid using the family members that personally don't know anything about what you do, or their surnames are the same thing with your surname. All right. Why does that sound so mal? You want to, as much as you can, try to use friends and people who can see your work. So you send them your work, tell them, look at what I've done. I want you to give me a LinkedIn endorsement. Don't just tell them, I better come and give me LinkedIn endorsement. Anyhow. That's not useful. That doesn't make sense. Okay? You tell them to give a LinkedIn endorsement based on what you have shown them that you can do. Do you understand? All right. So there are also recommendations as well. 2 or genuine people can recommend you, like the past 2 people you've worked with, or some of your bosses that you're still close with. Do you understand? Okay. So there's what we call employment gaps. Now, that may not be relevant here, but an employment gap is a time that you were not working. So for instance, if you tell somebody I've been working for the past 10 years, 10 years ago is what? 2016. So the person is like, okay, I can see what you were doing from 2016 to 2020. I can see what you were doing from 2022 to 2025. I can also see what you're doing in 2026, but I cannot see what happened between 2020 and 2022. You were not working. You don't have any work experience. There's a gap. That's what we call employment gaps. Do you understand? So that's where you can put a brief parental note is like, let me say, career break, family responsibilities. You don't need to explain it in details. You get 2022 to 2023, maternity break, maybe I gave birth or something, or I went for a training, or I took some time up for just core personal development. You get, all right? So there's also freelanced informally. You can just say, oh, within 2023, 2025, I wasn't having a steady job. I was freelancing informally. Freelance role, self-employed. You put it there. Do you understand? If you tell somebody you have been working for 10 years, there needs to be proof of every work you have done for the past 10 years on your CV, including when you were sleeping. No, I don't mean that literally. I mean months or years that are not counted for, you need to be able to put them here. Something like I was studying for an exam, you went to do your master's, I was searching for a job, you get. You can say it took a relevant short period of time on pro bono project, that means volunteer project, you get. Oh, for this period of time, I actually worked on volunteer project. You don't go and tell people I was searching for a job for 1 year, I did not see job. No. I was doing volunteer project. I was contributing to an open source project, you understand? Okay? I was building a business that did not succeed. Entrepreneurial experience is legitimate experience. Oh, within 2021, 2023, I started this company. It didn't work out, but I'm back in the market. As a matter of fact, we've realized that companies are more inclined to hiring founders who have relatively had experience than they have with hiring just employees because of the amount of training and capacity they have grown. Do you understand? Okay. So your CV does not just get you interviewed, it sets the framework for salary negotiations. Now, this is for high level. Don't do this at this initial level, please. I beg you. This is not for people who are starting up, all right? This is for people who are experts, like you're high level, you understand, okay? So some people have a way of putting some numbers, you get, that, how will I put it? You put some numbers that instructs the HRO of the kind of money that you should be earning. Do you understand? So for instance, if I put on my CV that I have managed the campaign of 100 million naira, usually payment fee relative to marketing campaigns are about 5%. So if he has done 100 million, that means he has made at least 5 million from this one project within 2 months. So when I want to negotiate salary with him, I know this guy have made about 5 million in 2 months. I need to understand that I can pay him, but I have to pay him in the millions. So this is like ways you can do it. Do you understand the point? Okay. When your CV shows something like I grew by 200%, reduced cost by 30%, manage, you understand? When you are talking about results and numbers, especially big results and big numbers, you're indirectly trying to tell the hiring manager, do your homework. If I get this kind of result, you think about how much they should have been paying me now. Do you understand the point? Do you understand the point? So that is how this thing works, all right? That's how this thing works, okay? So if some of you who are transferring from one, because somebody told me about you were doing something in shoemaking and then you're moving to digital space, they are what we call transferable skills, all right? Transferable skills like communication, project management, all of that. So you can move those transferable skills into your role, which are primarily soft skills. Okay? So like I said, your CV is never really finished, all right? It's a living document. The older you get, the more jobs you do, the more you should be able to update your CV. So consistently update your CV. Actually, within every 6 months, you should be able to update your CV, okay? Run a keyword audit on your CV before you do any application. I've told you guys about ATS scanners and all that. For instance, there's jobscan.co. That is a free ATS scanner. It helps you to be able to tell how good your CV is. You get aim for a CV that has a 70% higher ATS scanner result, which is I put my CV, I tell the AI that I'm applying for a social media role. The AI tells me you have 60% chance, you have 30% chance based on your CV, you get. So there are free ones, you can find them, like jobscan.co is one. You get seek feedback from people even after they did not hire you. Send an email. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for the interview. I really enjoyed the questions and everything. I understand I wasn't hired, but I don't mind a little feedback, even if it's even if it's a sentence or two on what I can do to improve on my CV, you get. And most nice and kind people will definitely give you feedback as well. 2, common mistakes even good CVs make. The responsibility trap, writing what your job involved instead of what you achieved. I've told you guys this thing already. Nobody needs to know your job. Everybody's hiring you because they want results. Go straight to telling them what result you achieved, all right? The passive voice problem, I talked about this as well too. You get, when you talk about things like campaigns were managed campaigns, things that doesn't look like you did anything. You have to sound active. I worked, I contributed, I led, I did, I moved, do you understand? People need to be reading your CV and be like seeing you a workaholic. Do you understand? So you use those action words, verbs, actual verbs, all right? So then the summary contradiction. The summary claims expertise in paid advertising, but the experience caution. For instance, now remember your professional summary. If you mention in your professional summary that you have done paid advertising with Meta, but you have zero experience in it, you are a scammer. I taught you guys this thing already. We've talked about all these things already. Padding your CV with every course you have taken. Oh, let me put this course. Maybe they like it. I told you guys, people hire people when they have a problem and they see somebody who can solve that problem. That's what makes them hire. So anything that you're adding to your CV that is not directly convincing the person about that problem that they want you to solve, it's undoing they'll start saying, I beg, this one is doing too much. Let me look for somebody that is focused. Nobody wants to hire a social media manager that is busy looking for, oh, what do I do here? They want to hire somebody that is sitting down doing their work and getting results, right? Static skills section, listing tools or skills that were current only 3 years ago. Nobody, if you put Microsoft Word in your this thing again, and God will have mercy on you. There are some things that some of you put in CVs that nobody cares about. Do you understand? Digital literacy. I'm a digital literate, internet browsing skill. Oh God, I don't have the energy self to go beyond this. All right. So you cannot afford to do those kind of stuff. Okay. Make sure you put your portfolio, make sure your name and the file. Some of you don't go and send your CV as for instance, for me now, my CV name file cannot, name of the file cannot be CN CV 2026. No, your CV name should be Chigozie-Nko or Chigozie-Nko CV.pdf, not CV updated, final CV, 2026 final CV. Do you understand? Don't do that. Your CV file should be your name. Your name, that's all. All right? Unfocused headline. I've talked about this slightly. Nothing like digital marketing professional. Instead, use very specific things that you do, your niche, specific problems that you're solving. All right? So let's look at full sample CVs. Entry-level digital marketer. This is the sample CV. The name is Amaka Obi, digital marketing specialist. Now, I want to correct something. You see this thing here, guys? You see this up here? You see this up here? When you are designing your CV, don't do it like this, because there's an update we got. Most ATS system, if they are reading all your details the way it is horizontally, they are not, the AI is not seeing that this is an email, this is a phone number, this is different. Do it vertically. So Amaka Obi, digital marketing specialist, Lagos, Nigeria, another line. Phone number, another line. Email address, another line. LinkedIn, another line. Do you understand? Do you understand? Or you go to the other part of the document and do another line there, like you know the way you formal letters. Amaka Obi, digital marketing, this is the email address. Here, you can now do portfolio and LinkedIn link there. Do you understand? So that's what you do. All right. Don't do this. New updated ATS systems are not really catching things like this. All right. So professional summary, digital marketing specialist with hands-on experience in social media management, content creation, and meta ads execution, built and grew personal brand, Instagram, 6,000 followers, blah, 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 blah. Look at skills. She listed the skills, social media management, social media, all the social media, advertising, everywhere she advertises, content creation, all the content creation, analytics, all the analytics. Do you see? Project, Instagram growth, personal brand. This is the growth, 2024 to present. Meta ads, this is it. Do you understand? Education, mass communication, BSc, Google certificate, Lagos, Nigeria, Google certification, HubSpot content marketing, Meta blueprint, 2024. So this is like a very basic entry-level CV. Like I told you guys, I don't want to give you guys anything complicated because this is a basic CV. Do you understand? A very basic CV. You can replace project with your experience so that you're not replicating the same context. Okay? This is for somebody who is a beginner, who doesn't have work experience. So this CV now, I did this sample one is entry level. Somebody that doesn't have work experience, this is how your CV should look like. Now, somebody who has intermediate work experience, UI UX designer, you do the same thing here. Your professional summary, work experience. Do you see? Tools and skills, education and certification. Remember, except you have a very extensive CV, very extensive, don't bother differentiating work experience from projects. Do you understand? So if you're a beginner, just focus on these ones I'm telling you to do now. Do you get? Now, remember you're going to have this document, so you can use it for anything you want. You can just check all of them yourself, okay? So this one is 6 years experience, advanced, okay? Senior data analyst, business intelligence, professional experience, core competencies, work experience, education and certification. Do you understand? Okay, so this is like a very brief, contextual CV, relatively very brief. All right. Now, most of the things we have talked about earlier on, you can add them if you clearly, let me go and find them so that you guys will understand what I'm talking about. If you have volunteer opportunities, that is only when you can add them. Don't go and start looking for volunteer opportunities. If you have publications and speaking engagements, that's only when you can add them. If you have awards and recognition, that's only when you can add them. If you have other languages, that's only way. Don't go and put something that you don't have a use for. So all these other optional ones are only when you have them. Nkechi, did you hear me? Did you guys hear what I'm saying? So these are examples of very good CVs. You see that a CV is not hard. See it, very simple. It just needs to work, all right? Very simple, it just needs to work, okay? So here, I put a lot of 20 bullet point transformation. I'm not going to go through this. You can go through it yourself if you're serious. I put a lot of other resources that can help you, and then 5 practical exercises, all right? This is how you can start. You get, open a blank document, list every role, every project, every freelance engagement or course, volunteer work, everything you have done. List it. For each item, write 2 things: what you actually did, what happened as a result, or what you produced. You get, identify the 3 strong method experiences, the ones most likely to prove to an employer. You get, identify gaps. Then you do keyword extraction. Find job postings for rules. If you are really serious, if you are genuine, and you're really serious about this internet space and this digital space and this entire economy, and you want to succeed, and you want to make money, you want to get a job, you want to grow, you need work. This thing doesn't have a shortcut. Part of the work is these things now that I'm telling you to do. This is part of the work. Do you understand me? This is part of the work. You have to put in the work. Do you understand? Put in the work. Go through all these exercises I told you to do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And at the end of them, you're going to have a perfect CV. Use this checklist and this formula to make sure that your CV is perfect. Okay?